Hey everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James,
And I'm Sarah.
and today we're going to be talking about Squid Game, the challenge again, but this time it's episodes 3 through 10, all the way to the finale, Sarah. We're back!
Just the rest of it.
Yeah. This is going to be like a bonus episode that we didn't tell people about. Right?
And that we're not quite sure when it's coming out yet either.
So
it's just going to pop up on your feed at some point.
yeah. So behind the scenes, what happened is we watched more of the show, and then
I'm really into it.
Sarah messaged me, and she was hot, she was heated,
I had some strong feelings.
and then I hadn't watched it yet, but then I watched more, and I was like, yes, let's talk about this some more. What we've just done is today is Wednesday, December 6th, 2 hours after the release of the
We
final
just
episode.
watched the final episode together. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually watched a show together, Sarah. When's the last time we did that? It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while. Yeah. And then we even watched, there was the making of, like
Yeah,
a 30-minute
wild.
episode after that we watched.
Crazy. If you make it all the way through the Squid Game the Challenge, go watch the making of Squid Game the Challenge. Also,
It was so much work into this
pretty
shit. It's
impressive.
amazing. Yeah.
So yeah, we're back, and we are going to talk about it all because it needs to be talked about.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, we're not gonna do any comments from the listeners because we don't know.
We haven't
when
even
it's gonna
released
come
the
back.
first Squid
we
Game episode yet.
We haven't even released the first Squid Game podcast at this time. So yeah, we'll get right into it. Right?
Yeah, let's do
All right,
it. I'm pumped.
Let's just start at the main event, Sarah.
Uh-huh.
Thank God Mai won this show. Thank
Oh
God.
yeah, I was gonna be so mad if she didn't win.
Oh my goodness, that was I cared so much about who was gonna win the show.
And it felt like she was the only one putting any like real effort in.
Exactly,
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
everybody
Okay.
else was just there and trying to get along or be a villain. And
Yeah.
she was the only one playing with an ounce of strategy.
I think we're largely going to be on the same page of this, but like the specifics of what we're upset about might be slightly different. But I think we're going to be pretty close on how we
Okay,
watch
yeah,
this show.
probably.
All right. Yeah, the edit of this show is amazing. Like from the stance of
We
like
didn't talk about Mai at all in our first podcast episode about this because she didn't exist. We didn't know.
yeah. This is like the most unpredictable reality TV show I've ever watched, I think. Because like
'Cause there's just so many dang people.
pretty much every player that we highlighted in the first 2 episodes is eliminated by like the end of episode 6.
Yep.
So there's like 4 more episodes of all the main characters after the first 2 episodes. I think Trey 301 is the only one left from
he makes it
our
the
first
deepest.
podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like I was just thinking about like how do you even edit that way? Because it's like did like the people that edited the first 5 episodes like not even know who was gonna win? Like because I don't know how you don't like go out of your way to like sneak in some.
Well, I gotta
some Mai
imagine-
action or like I don't know.
I can imagine that Mai was just playing it real under the radar and wasn't doing anything interesting.
It's like nothing.
You
to
know,
show.
because I feel like most of the strategy for this game is for a while, just don't let anybody notice you.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if you go back, like you'll actually like notice her as like part of a group or something. But
That might be true.
but like the way they did it was like pretty much like okay. I don't know if they knew how they were gonna release this in advance or they decided maybe based on the edit. But it was almost like because we both kind of thought Steven, what was his name?
Steven the Mullet Man is all I got for
I was
you.
gonna say
I didn't
I was
write
gonna
down
say
his
his number.
We thought he was gonna be a contender for the end.
Steven 432. I thought he was like probably the odds-on favorite to win based on the first 2 episodes. But it felt like the entire like storyline of the first 5 episodes was like just to highlight how anybody on the show can win. Like because they're like
Yeah.
looking back, like Steven 243 didn't even have to like be in the edit of the show. Like it made it more dramatic when he gets like selected to be eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I get
Yeah.
that, and I'd like, did that moment need to be dramatic because I knew the 5th episode? I don't know. I don't know how to decide to like make this person. We're gonna make a story about this person because it kind of works out with like halfway through the season or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, don't get attached to too many people on this show because
Yep. they're not gonna be there for long.
Like the Steven 243 and Rick 232 elimination was like pretty amazing, especially if you were watching it in real time and you couldn't watch the next episode.
Yes.
But like some of these people we talked about just like kind of just casually get eliminated in like in games later on. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that made it amazing to watch for me because I watch these reality shows enough where like I can't not try to read the edit. So but try and read the edit didn't help you at all in the show. It was like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. Yeah, so I think what we largely are going to talk about is all the games and tests that these players went through.
Yes.
And I want us to I want to do it from the perspective of if you and I
what
were on the show.
What would we do if we were there? Yeah.
What would we do if we were in it together? What would we do? Like, is there something you could do if you had two people? Also, at the end of the finale of Squid Game, they're going to advertise for casting for season 2 of Squid Game, the challenge. And I am in the middle of trying to convince Sarah to apply for Squid Game, the challenge season 2 with me.
Spoiler alert, it's not going to work.
Why not? Come on, Sarah.
Oh,
you and I would steamroll these people. Come on.
No, we wouldn't. I mean, you might. I would be like, there's so many people. I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much talking I have to do. I just want to hide in my bunk and nap. It would be a rough time.
Yeah. What did we find out? It was like, I think the show took like 16 days of filming, which is more than I thought.
And there was quarantine time ahead of time. So like on the forum, they're like, be prepared. We're going to maybe take a month of your life.
But it's for the biggest like prize money ever, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like a Survivor's a month of your life, but if it's probably more with quarantine, even nowadays with the reduced season, and it's like worse conditions.
Starve-fed,
yeah. So yeah, this shit's gonna be a breeze. Now it's way harder to win this because there's more people on the show. But in the grand scheme of things, though, like if you think about the entire game, like including the casting process, now season 2 of the show might get a lot of people that are trying out for it, and I don't know how that stacks up against people still trying to get on Survivor. But if you look at it from that perspective, like your odds of winning based against all the people that are applying for the show is pretty good. It's in terms of the return on the money, like it's 4 times more. Yeah,
it just so much of it seems so random and like you have zero control over it.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I mean, it largely is a lot of randomness to the games, but that's like good in a way. I also don't think the season 2 will be like I kind of would be surprised if they bring back any of the games.
Oh yeah,
from season 2. Like I don't know, like maybe if they want to do red light, green light again, they could.
I'm curious about when season 2 will be filmed in relation to season 2 of just Squid Game releasing, and if they're going to pull from that, and if the people who are going to be on the show will have been able to watch the season 2 of the drama before recording or filming for the reality show. Like I would imagine they would probably want to not let people see that, so they could just, if they're going to take from the show and then maintain all of those surprises,
Yeah, because I mean what largely carries Squid Game the challenge is how much effort they put into making it like Squid Game, the fictional show, because a lot of these games are like very simple, like, and that's like the idea, like they're children's games, but also the games that the games that they brought in that weren't from the show are very simple games. Like the show ends with rock paper scissors. Like it's like it's just rock paper scissors, but it's very dramatic because of all the effort the show has put in to making it feel like Squid Game, and the fact that it's for $4.5 million. Like they can't do it again the same way because it's like, okay, I'm watching people play rock paper scissors for the second time. Like it's gonna wear off the Squid Game effect.
Yeah.
But if they wait for season 2 of Squid Game to come out, and I don't know if that's gonna have a whole new set or whatever it's gonna be, but it would be more of the same formula if they wait for Squid Game season 2 before making Squid Game the challenge season 2.
I'm kind of hoping that because they are both Netflix shows, that they will share some information, be able to record the challenge before, season 2 of the drama releases, and then you can sort of have the best of both worlds, where you get the authenticity of the original show, but also like you don't have to do crazy things to maintain surprises because people already know what's happening, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure they will be communicating with whatever decision they make. I mean, they could do a whole second season with the same aesthetic, like the same dormitory. But I think they would have to change the games and make twists that people wouldn't be able to anticipate.
Yeah,
like you can't do the picnic twist again.
Yeah.
And from what you told me, it seems like the picnic twist should have been predictable to some degree. Maybe some people did predict it.
If people were thinking about it, yeah. But like, I also think like that's a really like the way they chose to go about avoiding people knowing exactly what they were doing and still maintaining this drama of now you have to play a game against the person who you're, besties with in the game and eliminate them. I think they did that in a really smart way.
Yeah. Very well done. Honestly, my only complaint about the show is 432. 432 is the only person.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to the first 2 episodes, is just I think
Not
they
a
did
fan.
everything very, very well except for 432. How they handled 432.
Yep.
All right, you ready to get into these games?
Let's do it.
Also, so I didn't say this yet. I am actually recording video of myself right now in hopes that maybe I'll use segments from this podcast as part of my video application for Squid Game Challenge Season 2. Sarah has declined to videotape herself.
Yeah. I'm not on board with this yet, but you go have a great time.
We'd be such a good story, Sarah.
I would be miserable the entire time.
You can be Steven and I'll be your friend that gets eliminated in the first game.
Could you imagine? You talk me into doing this thing I really don't want to do, and then you get eliminated immediately, and I'm left there on my own.
Yeah, but if you get through that first game, Sarah, your whole mindset's gonna change. You're gonna be like, "Damn!" And that money's coming into the piggy bank, and you're like, "Wow, there's under 200 people now. Come on, you have this."
No, because now I'll be like,
"Let's go."
James is gone. He had all the strategy. I just knew. I just watched the drama. That's it. I got nothing.
If you're upset about some stuff on the show, hopefully that means that you're willing to do some strategy. That's largely what I'm upset about, the lack of strategy on the show.
All right. Well, let's get into it so we can get to it.
If Mai can win the show, Sarah, you can win the show. Come on. Nobody loved Mai. Come on. Even she had a couple people that liked her. But she made enemies and she still won the show.
She absolutely did.
She had a skill set that came in handy. But
yeah,
come on, we can do it. We can do it. Imagine if we're Trey and Leanne, we get through together after the first game. Then we're unstoppable.
I don't know if you remember. We're about to talk about it, but they were stopped. Yeah, they did not make it through to the end.
They fucked up bad, but. Yeah, both of them. Well, they made a mistake together, and then I have some things to say about Trey. But all right.
Yeah.
All right, episode. These are loosely episode. Like, there's cliffhangers, so not all these games are resolved in one episode. But
yes,
we'll start episode 3. Episode 3 will not be tug of war.
This is what everyone was anticipating.
Yeah. Okay. Where do we leave off? We played red light, green light. If you want to listen to the first 2 episodes, we already talked it through in our last podcast. In the first 2 episodes, they played red light, green light. Then they had their first dormitory test. And then they played the cookie game, aka Dalgana. And then they had the phone test, which bleeds into episode 3, but we talked through that.
Yes.
So we're going to start after the phone test and go right into Warships, which is taking the place of Tug of War, also known as Warships is also known as Battleship.
Yes.
At least the game that I grew up with. Yeah. So after all the complaining, we did about 4-3-2 in the first 2 episodes. 4-3-2 is just going to get eliminated in Battleship.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Which was awesome. I was so happy.
It was great, but it was also sort of anticlimactic. I don't know.
They made him meal out.
Randomly got picked.
Yeah, but he's so bad that it was. It felt so good. Do you want to talk through what are we playing here?
Okay, so
I assume people kind of know Battleship, but like, what's the deal?
Okay, so first of all, they all go into a room where they have to make 8 even lines, and everybody is still thinking,
let's talk that out.
It's gonna be tug of war. So like, you have all your bros with 4-3-2 being like, oh, we're the strongest team, we're totally gonna win or whatever. Turns out that does not matter because they go in and there's a big board. I don't know how do you explain Battleship? It's like a board that's segmented in half, so you can't see the other player's side in
Yeah,
like
you don't
in
have to
its
explain Battleship.
human side. Okay.
Yeah. You have 5 ships. You put them on a grid, and then you take turns firing missiles, and you get to know if you hit or miss. But you don't actually see the opponent's ships.
Yes.
So you're trying to, but you know the shapes of their ships. So once you get a hit, you can deduce where you have to shoot next.
Exactly. But in this case, it's giant, and we've got like ships that can fit people in them.
Yeah.
And so each team has to pick a captain, and that captain chooses a lieutenant. Those are the people who are going to be in front, picking where to shoot, also presumably where to put the ships. And everybody else just kind of hunkers down in a spot in a ship and hopes not to get shot, because if you're in a ship that sinks, you get eliminated regardless of who wins. And the team that wins is the team that sinks 2 ships first. And the losing team, the captain and the lieutenant, get eliminated, but the rest of the team is safe unless they were in a sunk ship.
Yeah.
So
you
we're
can
not
survive.
completely like eliminating half of everyone at this point. Just
It's slightly it's definitely less than half, because there's like 5 ships and you only need 2. So like if you're in a ship that doesn't go down, then you're good. Even if your team loses. All right, so let's talk through the whole thing. So we're in the room. We don't actually know what we're playing, right? Also, there's a time limit on like picking a line, and like each line had to be like, it was like 15 or something.
Equal length.
Yeah, equal length.
Yeah.
But there was like a time limit, as if like this is what like the Dalgana time limit with eliminating people when they didn't agree was so good, because now everybody's like really aware that this
really
is
amped
like,
up and like getting it done in
you
time.
better get shit done under the time limit, otherwise you're gone. But like were they really gonna eliminate like an entire line if like say you needed 15 people in a line and one person was just like, no, I'm not getting in that line? Would both lines that didn't have would both lines that don't have 15, like one is 16, one is 14, or 30 people getting eliminated?
I think they were really counting on people being freaked out and giving in, given that they had already sort of done this time pick thing. But I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, I have the same question on Glass Bridge. Like, was that clock actually legit? I don't know.
Oh well, if that's like in Glass Bridge specifically, just like in Red Light Green Light, they only had quote unquote 5 minutes or however long to get across the finish line, but they had to stop every time red light was called and like readjust things. So like the clock stops and then it's just a whole mess of.
But
logistics.
If everybody refuses to jump, well, we'll get to it. But if everybody like refuses to jump on Glass Bridge, is everybody just eliminated? You think that's how it is?
Well, then that's the really anticlimactic end.
Yeah, that's
what
I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I think probably the producers step in before a certain time and be like, you need to go across this goddamn bridge now, so that way we have a show.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those timers actually, it's the same thing we talked about in the first episode. Like, if everybody refuses Umbrella, do they stop the show?
Yeah,
like
there has to be a breaking point.
Yeah,
but I would think that maybe here, like, you get rid of 30 people. Okay, you get rid of 30 people. You know?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter.
We're still we have enough people in this game. Whereas, like, if it's nobody moves on the bridge, that's literally everybody gets eliminated. So, you know, there's some things that are more crucial than others.
Are we getting in the same line? I guess we might as well. I mean, do you want to be in my line if you think it's tug of war? Sarah?
Sure, why not? Like, at this point, I gotta think, like, is it really gonna be tug of war? Because, like, this is too, like...
I would hope it's not tug of war. Like, I would have put a lot of effort into, like, I need to be on, like, the strong team, like, physically strong team, because I would, like, personally think it's dumb if we were actually just playing tug of war. So if I just lost because it was tug of war, like, I'd just be like, okay, I lost because it's tug of war. But I like this show, so that's not what they did.
Yeah.
And then, so weirdly enough, for the battleship aspect of this, like, I actually think 432, you can tell me what you think. I think 432 actually articulated what the best strategy is for this game.
Did he? I thought he was just crying and whining that
he was doing that.
He was like, I don't know how to play this game, but we picked the worst captain. She's just randomly picking shit. And just like, I don't know. He did not sound like he had an alternate strategy. He was just like, I am upset. I am not in control. Mwah.
Yeah, no. For somebody that was in confessional previously complaining about how people complain too much. He did a lot of complaining about his teammates in this game.
Oh, 100%.
But unless I'm misremembering, I think he's the one that articulates that like he wanted to be in the smallest boat because it has like the least chance of being found in the grid.
Sure. It's also the easiest to sink. Like it only requires 2 hits to sink, so it's a trade-off in that way.
And now you don't know the rules of the game in terms of being like captain, lieutenant. You don't know the rules of the game. Like I'm definitely not volunteering to be captain. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then I forget if they knew that the captain would be picking a lieutenant. I don't think they did.
They did not.
Overall, and this will come up in many games, I think the strategy is like don't volunteer for anything.
Oh no,
right?
Keep your head down.
But
yeah,
I do think there is value in like getting somebody you trust and that trusts you to convince them to volunteer for stuff.
yeah,
and it could backfire here. Like if I nominate somebody that I'm vibing with and then they pick me for lieutenant, like that would suck. So this is like the one case where I don't think that works. But yeah, obviously try not to be the leader here, be the captain. And then if you can get in the smallest boat, I think that is the move, which is what 4-3-2 does, but he just gets unlucky. And he's not good with dealing with being unlucky.
Yeah.
Also, like if you're not it doesn't like just because you're not the captain doesn't mean you can't like contribute to the strategy, which is why him, like he's just complaining that his captain isn't as good as the other team's captain when in reality it's a game of chance. Like
yeah, I mean there are some things you can do to like maximize your possibility of hitting things, like if you only go like for even rows because you know like nothing's only going to be one thing wide, like there's a grid way you can like eliminate half of the things, right?
Yeah, if you're firing at the whole grid.
Yeah, like there are certain things you can do, but like it's still not like a huge game of pure strategy.
There's a psychology to Battleship that the contestant B is going to get into. Like I think I've heard this before she said on the show like I think like C3 is like a spot that everybody always I forget. Was she saying that everybody always puts their ship there or everybody always shoots there?
Everybody always shoots there.
Oh, okay. But they don't put their boat there. You'd think if it was such a weird, like, you think it'd be people drawn to it.
It might be both, you know, honestly.
But like she chose not to put a ship on C3, but then I think she also didn't fire at C3.
Yeah.
Maybe she just thought the other captain would know that. Well, I don't know. Yeah. So I think that's a strategy because, and again, you don't want, unless like you're some sort of god tier Battleship player who really has enough of an advantage to reduce the luck aspect of this. Like if you're the captain and you can be in control and you know some sort of advantage, that would be good. But mathematically, it's just if you're the captain or lieutenant, you have a 50% chance of going home. If you're out in a ship, you have a greater than 50% chance of surviving. Right?
Yeah. Because
your team can lose and you can still not get.
You can still make it through. Yeah.
So have the smallest ship and don't be a captain is basically the strategy of this game, I think.
Yeah.
Again, it's luck, but if you can think on your feet,
some things you can do. Yeah.
If you can think on your feet and have enough, like I'm sure 4-3-2 was just like I got the small ship and nobody's really challenging 4-3-2. So I don't know how he got the small ship, but he got exactly what he wanted.
And then I got exactly what I wanted because he got eliminated. It was great. Yeah. Win-win.
But you and I say we're on the same team. We get in there. Do we sit? We might as well be in the same ship, right? Like,
yeah, might as well.
I think Troy and Leanne.
Yeah, they were the same ship.
They were in the same ship, but it was like a 5-length ship.
Yeah, and they just barely didn't get.
It was like one turn. Now a lot of them came down to one turn. Some of them came down to not one turn, but they made it seem like it came down to one turn. And I was like, this is not dramatic. Like I can see the board. But all right, that's pretty much Battleship. All right, we won. We survived. We're moving on, Sarah.
Okay, nice.
All right. Episode 4 has the voting pad test, is what I called this.
Oh, this was spicy.
This is good. The voting is always good.
And this is somewhat open voting.
It's somewhat open. It's like anonymous voting in general. Like if I had to say what was better, like anonymous voting is way better. There are shows like The Challenge with another, not Squid Game the challenge, but the challenge where they do votes sometimes, and it's just like a public, like somebody goes first and says it out loud, and I hate it so much because it's just once
Mm,
somebody says it out loud, you just say the same name, and that's kind of
yeah.
what this comes down to. Except they know that 3 people have to get
Or
eliminated.
have to get
Yeah. So
eliminated.
what?
Yes.
It basically the guards bring out this number pad on a pedestal, and then they're instructed that each person has to vote for one person for elimination.
And the 3 players with the highest votes will be eliminated. And then they have like half an hour or something to go chat amongst themselves and be nervous.
Yes. Come up with strategy. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at with this. Tell me if this is
Uh-huh.
too spicy. Because
Okay.
so Leanne 302 is gonna end up going second. And it's just kind of random. They just like get in a line, right?
I mean, it's random, but you can also be like, nope, I'm not being this close to the front.
Yeah, you can
and just move.
Yeah, there's like a social like positioning going on. Where do you want to be in the line, Sarah?
Don't want to be in the front.
No,
I
you don't
wanna
want to be in the
be-
front at all.
I don't want to be in the front. I want to be behind the person I want to vote for. Like not immediately
Yes,
behind, but
yes,
somewhere
yes.
behind them.
Yes, that's smart. I was thinking you don't want to go first, right? Because
Absolutely
you go
not.
first, you vote for somebody. Depending on where that person is in the line, like they might retaliate vote, and then who knows how like the rest of the group decides.
Now, the person who did vote first in this got lucky because some idiot was going around trying to play it cool and being like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of ready to go home or whatever. Like, somehow that was going to make it get through.
But it was like a
Where
strategy.
the opposite was like, it was his strategy, but everybody was like, oh, well, we'll just vote for him then because he's ready to go home. And that like spread through everywhere. Like, so this is the guy that didn't even talk to this other guy. And he's just like, well, this guy wants to go home. Easy vote. There we go.
Yeah, I've also seen that strategy on Survivor, and it also did not work out.
I don't understand the logic behind thinking it would work.
I don't know either.
I don't get it at all. Like, you're just trying to be cool. Like, I don't really care about things. It's fine. It's like, no, that just makes it easy
They're
to
trying to look
send
like
you home.
so out of the game that nobody would even think. Like that person must be thinking like, I would never vote out somebody that wanted to quit. So I'll just say I want to quit, and then nobody will vote me out. But like that's just like their personal perspective. I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody else is just like stressed about picking who to vote for.
Yeah.
So he's an easy pick. But yeah, like the first time someone gets voted for in this scenario, their photo goes up on the screen.
Yeah. So you can, if you're the first person to vote for somebody, then everybody knows. who you
Everybody
voted for.
knows.
But if you vote for somebody that's already been voted for, nobody knows who you voted for.
As long as there's more than one person up there. They don't actually have like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
numbers of votes progressively upgrading up there. It's just the people who have been voted for so far.
Yeah. So I think I want to be like where Leanne was.
Really?
Like in the top. Like I don't want to go first, but I think like you want to go second or third.
Okay.
Like second or third is where I would want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get people that you don't care about in front of you in line, because you're just voting for whoever's in front of you in line.
Okay.
Like, just go up to the front of the line and be like, oh, who's going first? And then they put in a number, right? They vote for somebody. And then you just like, sorry, bro. And they just put in their number right behind them. And they can't retaliate.
I would say you just got to be aware of who they're in an alliance with, because if
I guess.
they have alliance people behind you, they might put your number up.
Yeah, you have to be like, you have to be like a little like 100%. It's what you said. Like you want to vote for somebody that's already been voted for. That's already not vote for somebody that's already voted. Unless there's already
Unless there's already 3 up there, then you only vote for the 3 up there.
If there's already 3 on the screen, but like I would want to be proactive in this situation and like get as close to the front of the line where I'm affecting. Like I want to contribute to getting it to the 3 names on the board as fast as possible that aren't me. So I want to get early in the line and have somebody in front of me that I think is just like nobody gives a shit about, and they'll pile on votes on this person as long as they're just up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody that like people wouldn't like, somebody might put your name up that's like upset, but like it's not gonna be enough people, because I don't want to leave it to chance where like if you're way at the back of the line, somebody puts your name up and then you have
little control.
You have no counterplay. You're just like, by the time you get up there, you can't put a new name on the board. You're just hoping like whoever you vote for is like the person you're competing with votes against, and you have no way of really knowing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely be proactive here. Now Leanne is gonna go second, but she is not gonna do what I said she's gonna.
But you know what? It works out. It's a baller move. I love it. Earlier, she felt like what was his name? Lorenzo, the guy who COVID absolutely broke and like was stealing food and just like gives zero shits about the rules, was a little rude to her, and she's like, "I'm gonna vote for that guy." Did not give a fuck. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leanne can get away with this because, like,
Yeah.
who's voting out Leanne? You know,
Exactly.
so she gets one vote from Lorenzo. Maybe other people put votes on her, but I don't know
But
where
he's
Lorenzo
so
was.
far back in the line compared to her that like enough momentum had been built up behind the like
Yeah.
3 names that were already up there that it didn't matter.
Yeah, so I like again, you could just keep trying to play invisible and just be like, nobody's gonna vote for me. I'll go to the back, or I'll just whenever I vote, I'll just vote for somebody that's already up there. Nobody knows who I voted for. You could. It's totally fair to play that way, but I would prefer to be proactive here and help contribute to getting at least one of the first 3 names on the board. Once 3 names are on the board and you come up, why bother? Why bother putting another name up?
Just focus on those.
Yeah, so that's basically how I would play this. Anything else?
Don't make a big deal about like trying to get everybody to choose a way to pick people ahead of time, because that just puts a target on your back and then you get voted out.
Oh yeah, like stay like you don't have to do. Now I don't know, like if you hear your name is coming up, that's when it gets tricky.
Yeah.
And that's when you definitely want to be you definitely want to be at the front of the line if you hear your name coming up. But you don't always know, like you're not gonna know who's people talking about. So yeah,
but there is a lot of stuff this season that it reminds me a lot of watching The Devil's Plan and Orbit's all like, let's team together to work together or whatever. There's a lot of that happens in this show that I don't love, and for the most part it is generally successful. Like people team up and all agree to it, but here somebody tries to start that and it comes back and gets him voted off.
I don't think it's really like Orbit, because like Orbit is like literally trying to have everybody survive, and like that is not an option in this game. So,
well, yeah, just in that it is trying to get everybody to cooperate in a way that I feel is disingenuous to the spirit of the game.
Oh, you think so?
I mean,
actual
Squid Game is literally just like
oh,
climbing over the corpses of people you recently met to win.
I'm like, I don't view it that way. Like in Survivor, like you vote for somebody every episode, every tribal council, and like people have to work together to some capacity to get that like somebody out. So
yeah, but in that way you get like smaller alliances like working together, whereas in a lot of these cases later in the season, it's like people are expecting literally everybody who is currently in the game to work together and do a thing that is not what the game was asking for.
All right. We'll have to talk about it when we get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this. It's a nice get 3 people out test that they do. Yeah, it's not going to create that much like tension between a bunch of players, but it'll do something, right?
It's like the tension that it creates, it immediately eliminates because like half of the people involved in the tension are gone now.
Yeah. If you're going to do a vote for like having over 100 people or whatever they had at this point in time, it was a decent way to do a vote elimination.
Yeah.
I actually thought they were going to do like a second round of that exact same voting thing, because they were like, oh, there's going to be 2 tests before the next game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if you go like going in the front of the line and putting up a new name if you're going to be doing this voting twice is a little risky.
Yeah.
But it ended up not being that. So I might have got confused and not known that was how it was going to work. Because they're going to do another test in episode 5 called I called it the Jack in the Box test. And this is just straight up cross your fingers and hope. Cross your fingers and hope.
Well, yeah. But then results in some of like, I think like top tier strategy that has happened in this game compared to everything else.
I might get eliminated if I went to the front of the line, honestly, and put somebody's name on the board. I might get screwed by this Jack in the Box test, but I'm willing to take that.
That's true.
That risk.
Yeah.
Because basically, this Jack in the Box test is they bring out 6 Jack in the Boxes, right? And
yes,
put them on a table,
and they get 5 volunteers.
Yeah, only 5 people. So one of the Jack in the Box never gets open, and then each Jack in the Box could contain an advantage for the next game. It could cause the person who opens the Jack in the Box to get eliminated themselves, or the person that opens the Jack in the Box can eliminate other players.
Yes.
Yeah. One person gets an advantage, one person gets eliminated, and I think 3 people will get to eliminate players.
Yeah, and they like strategically like production knows which Jack in the Box is which, so they like pick the numbers appropriately to make it real dramatic. And the very last one is eliminate 3 people, which is the most power I think a single player has had in the game.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. We're not opening these Jack in the Boxes, are we, Sarah?
Oh no, hell no.
Like how bad would you have to feel like your game position is to open one of these Jack in the Boxes? I don't know.
No matter how like it would have to be down to like a handful of people where like you have to take some sort of initiative instead of just hiding amongst the crowd.
Yeah, because even if somebody that like might eliminate you goes up there, like they might just not get. Now, what's interesting is that I don't like if you go up and get a Jack in the Box, I don't think you can be as selected as the eliminated player. Oh no, the guy with the advantage gets eliminated though.
If you haven't done your Jack in the Box yet, yeah, I don't think they can pick you. But the guy who gets the advantage immediately gets eliminated by the next person.
Yeah, is that why the show is very specific about like the order that the Jack in the Boxes were opened?
Yes.
Like they didn't go down the line. It was like you open yours first, and I think like maybe maybe some people that got advantages or got eliminated themselves might have opened first.
Yeah, it was like the first one was like eliminate 2 people. The second one was like get eliminated right now.
So you just think the first guy couldn't eliminate the people with Jack in the Boxes? You think that was an actual rule? I don't know. It's tough to say.
Yeah, I feel like they probably production wouldn't want that because then you'd need another person to come up and volunteer, like take over their thing. But if you've already finished your Jack in the Box, you are fair game.
Yeah, the last person to open their box is gonna be the person that gets to eliminate 3 people. This is Felicia 229, and this I was absolutely floored by who she decided to eliminate because to me she eliminates like the main character and his sidekick. Like this was incredible.
Yeah.
First she eliminates the player with the advantage. That makes sense.
Yeah, like the whole time leading up to this, she is shaking and crying and like, why did I volunteer for this? And then the moment she gets the thing that tells her to like eliminate people, like her face is completely different. She is
really?
Like out for blood and ready to go. Like, and so the person right before her got an advantage. We will never know what an advantage in this game is like.
Yeah, we never found out what a single advantage
earlier, somebody could choose to eliminate someone or give someone an advantage. They eliminated someone. Yeah. Now someone gets an advantage, immediately gets murdered. So who knows what an advantage would have been.
Yeah.
And then after that, she goes for Steven, number whatever, Mullet Man.
243.
And his bestie, Rick, old man in the dorm.
Rick 232.
And it is amazing.
And that's just the end of the first week of Squid Game the challenge. And I'm like, what? You just got rid of Steven.
Yep.
The story this whole oh my god.
The like de facto leader of the only alliance we know the name of. Like,
and then my immediate edit brain was like, all right, so is Felicia gonna win the show now? Like
nope.
Like they only build up Steven and Rick because Felicia is like eliminating them and like she's gonna go on to win. But like I think Felicia just gets eliminated in the next game anyway.
Yes, she does.
And then I was like, what? What am I rooting for? Like amazing.
Yeah.
So again, like all these games are like very luck based. A little bit of like social positioning you can be doing. Honestly, her eliminations were good. Like
yeah.
Like the Gangbu gang, at least from what we saw. I mean, there could have definitely been other groups of people, but like the Gangbu gang was like a group of guys that seemed like they were
always
really
hung
tight,
out together.
Always hung out together. They really went out of their way to make sure they were all on the same team for warships.
Yeah.
So I think that really kind of exposed them.
Well, also, like, I think when Rick gets eliminated, he's like, oh, I thought we were really under the radar. Whenever we see them just hanging out in the dorm, they're in a corner, perched up, looking like a prison gang.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing subtle about this alliance at all. Everyone sees them together all the time.
They all look like
in the same place.
Yeah. They weren't that subtle, but I felt like the show was like telling me they were being subtle, even though I didn't believe they were being subtle. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
I guess they're gonna get credit for being subtle. But nope, there they go, they're gone. Is Rick a weird choice?
Is Rick a weird
Is Rick
choice?
a weird choice? Steven makes a lot of sense. Eliminating the old guy out of all the guys in the Gongbu gang seems a little weird, but
Yeah,
maybe
but
she just, I don't know how she
the
decided.
edit seems to show that he is like the beloved guy of the Gongbu gang. You know, like
Yeah,
he's what's holding that shit together. And I gotta be honest, as soon as he's gone, I really stopped caring about that whole storyline. Like there's another guy that sort of becomes the main face of that alliance, but I don't care about him. So like
yeah, that's
maybe
true.
they were feeling that, you know?
Yeah, I bet Rick just kind of gets limited because maybe he's viewed as Steven's like bestie in the game,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
probably it. But I don't think like anybody was like looking at the Gongbu gang and being like, Rick, he's running the show.
But yeah, you think like it would be more effective to then like go after another alliance and take out like the head or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I mean the Gongbu gang seemed like they had the most people, so I understand taking out a second
That's true.
Gongbu gang member, but just Rick seemed like kind of a weird choice. But all right, we're still survived. We survived all these, Sarah.
Well,
We did
here's the
it.
thing. In this theoretical, fantastical world where you convinced me to go on this show,
Okay.
we gotta like never hang out, right? Like otherwise people will know.
We could talk. I mean, we could talk, but we don't need to like hang out with each other the most compared to other people that we're hanging out with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we gotta. I mean, we gotta talk and whatnot.
You gotta
Yeah.
mix it up like constantly and never look like you're actually with anybody.
Yeah. Nobody would suspect that you and I were like on the show together, right? We never really got to meet Steven's best friend, but I feel like I don't know how stealthy they would have been. And then like
I don't think they would have been
Trey
stealthy
and
at
Leanne,
all.
Trey and Leanne weren't stealthy at all. I feel like we could definitely be stealthy.
Yeah. Trey and Leanne should never told anybody that like they were mother and son. They should have just been
Yeah.
trying to keep that quiet the whole time.
It didn't really come back to bite them, but they were like their names were floated out a little bit because of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that was so hard. Everybody's so emotional that, let's just go squeeze some orange juice in the kitchen. Let's take a breath and relax.
Yeah, they get like 5 players to do a chore. And the chore is you have half an hour to squeeze all these oranges into juice and fill up these jugs.
There's no way they were failing this, right? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
what's the
They
punishment if they had failed this? Like, is it just a different mechanic? Like, they don't get a picnic or whatever?
I think they purposely like when there's no way they could fuck this up. We gave them enough time, enough oranges, all the tools they need.
We
Yeah,
paused.
yeah.
We paused the clock a little bit when they weren't looking.
Yeah, yeah. Like they absolutely needed them to pass this. So that way the rest of the dorm could get their little quote unquote treat.
Yeah. See, so you told me, like, even I have not watched the show. Like,
Mhm.
you told me about a part where, like, they have to go in pairs, and then they find out, like, oh, now they have to do a game against each other, and one of them's gonna get eliminated. So
Yeah.
you told me about that, and I was like,
Never getting a
they
pair.
brought out these picnics, and they were like,
Choose one person to share your picnic
choose
with.
one person to share a picnic with. I was like, oh, okay. I guess this is this
And
part.
all these dummies hung out together. Like Trey and his mom had a
Trey and
picnic together,
Trey,
you know?
Trey and Leanne choose each other for the picnic. And lo and
Big
behold,
mistake.
there are marbles at the bottom of the picnic bag. And they will be playing marbles against each other. So good. Like the show did do a good job of like really disguising this by making it be like, oh, it's another chore, just part of the show.
Mhm.
And then, oh, here's
And
a
everybody was so
treat,
like
you
happy
guys.
about like quote unquote good food or whatever, you know? They were
Maybe they were
distracted.
like, because I think like a Big Brother, they do like a little bit. They give the contestants a little bit of like a halfway celebration on the
Mhm.
on the show. Maybe they were like,
Okay.
congratulations, guys, we're halfway through the show. Like, let's, like they really made it seem like it
Mhm.
wasn't part of the show. Like they were really getting something, and then it was like part of the show. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like some people had to have been like aware that
Somebody had to have figured it out.
yeah, but they highlight all the people that failed to recognize that this might be a trap.
And then have big reactions to having to eliminate their picnic partner.
Yeah, Trey and Leanne are together, I believe. Like 2 of the Gongbu gang members end up
Mm-hmm.
together. A couple other people. I think Jada
Felicia
and her friend.
and her friend are together. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Felicia with Ashley?
Yes, she
Yeah,
is.
okay.
So it's like I feel like they kind of end up highlighting people that lead to other people that end up mattering, right? Like we get Steven and Rick who get outed by Felicia, who then like is a close friend with Ashley, who becomes a bigger player later in the game,
Yeah.
and so that's how they're kind of weaving their tale together when people aren't interested in the beginning, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the edit totally works. It's just way harder than being like, okay, I know who wins the show, I know who makes it far, and I'm gonna just like look out for
Yeah.
things. Now, this is like, if my doesn't volunteer to do the Jack in the Box, like, can't make my part of the segment
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
So maybe it's not that hard. Maybe you're just editing whatever's there. And then honestly, what carries the show is just like the whole commitment to the original show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really well done. Yeah. So now all the people that had a picnic together have to do marbles. There's no way we're picnicking together, right, Sarah?
No,
Like,
no, of
we're
course
not.
not.
We're not doing this. Okay?
I'm trying to picnic solo.
Unless you're fed up with the game, maybe you can picnic with me and just let me win.
Ooh, that is true.
Yeah.
I might be sick of this game by then.
Free pass
Yeah.
on the picnic round. Okay.
But
Free pass on marbles. Okay.
yeah, if you're at an odd number, being the solo person is clutch. You get to not play marbles and just chill in the dorm.
Oh yeah. I mean, you didn't know that.
No, well, that is true in the actual original game.
What? It is?
In the original show, too. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Now, there's no guarantee that
Yeah.
follows through, but, that's a
Okay.
decent chance.
Okay.
I'd take that.
I think we got to split up. It's just, you got to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do you want there's a, 75% chance at least one of us makes it through. And then there's still a
Sure.
25% chance. Even if it's 50-50, like 25% chance we both make it through.
Mm-hmm.
Probably better to do that than take the 100% chance that one of us makes it through.
Yeah.
But we're going to go to marbles now. I want to play out
so
the
with
scenario.
marbles-
I want to play out the scenario though where we were dumb enough to have a picnic together.
Okay.
All right.
So just to clarify, the marble game is everybody gets 10 marbles, and in their pairs they have to go agree upon a game to play, and by the end of it, one person has to end up with all the marbles, and that's the winner, and the other person's eliminated. So you can come up with whatever rule you want to be.
Okay, so that's actually in the original show.
That is in the original show.
Do whatever you want. Okay.
If you fail to agree on what to play or finish your game, you both get shot or eliminated.
Yeah, this is when the show, like, I was floored by the Steven 243 elimination, and then we're gonna lose Felicia here. Felicia 229 is eliminated. I was like, okay, well, who cares about Steven and his story? It's completely dead now.
Yep.
Leanne 302 is gonna get eliminated by her son.
But I will say,
they play it out.
She didn't just give it to him. Yeah, they went for it. Both of them.
Okay, Sarah,
so
you're on the show with your mom.
I try to eliminate my mom. Come on.
You're gonna try to eliminate your mom?
Yeah.
I think my mom would give it to me.
Oh yeah, I don't know if my mom would give it to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. We're a little competitive.
Okay. Yeah, there is going to be one pair that can't agree on the terms of their game.
Yeah, that's one guy who's an absolute asshole and one woman who's just like trying to get through this shit. It is ridiculous.
I do think like he's worse in terms of like maybe the words he chose to use throughout the conversation, but like they're both not like equally not agreeing to a game.
Yeah, but she's at least giving options and he is rejecting at every turn. And then when she finally gives in to his option and they tie, like he refuses to even like give her the win because she got it in first. Like it just I don't like that guy.
They failed on so many fronts because you need to play a game where it gets enough time where you like it's a social thing too where like you have to come to an agreement on the terms of the game, otherwise there will not be a winner. And they never really came to a terms of agreement on a game. So there was wiggle room to argue that there was
they didn't account for a tie. Yeah.
They waited too long to actually like start playing a game that they agreed to.
But he is much more of an asshole about it. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna back down on that.
I do think he's worse, but like also like I imagine in the original show, most people play like, let's throw these marbles at a target, and then we'll decide it like that in some way, shape, or form. And the stance that the woman takes is like, I'm not playing a throwing game because
Yeah.
you're gonna be better than me. And then that guy's like really not willing to give in, and he's like, and she does eventually cave because like theoretically he should have the upper hand because like that's kind of the expected thing that you're supposed to do. you
Well,
know?
actually, the game that you see the most in the actual show is sort of like a betting game where like you hold an unknown number of marbles in your hand and the other person holds a similar unknown number of marbles in their hands, and
Oh, okay.
whoever's turn it is guesses even or odd. And then if you're right, you get their marbles. If you're wrong, you lose your marbles.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted.
And so like
That was gonna be my
that's the
idea.
primary thing. Okay.
My idea, because like you, like I don't know what the marbles were, like yellow and green or whatever the colors were. I
Mhm.
was just gonna be like, okay, let's play it out. It's you versus me, right?
Okay.
How do you start? Like, how would you start this conversation? This is so awkward.
Yeah, it is. Well, first we'd be like, well, I'm not letting you win, and you're not letting me win, so let's just do this damn thing, I guess.
Yeah. Let's pretend we're not on the show together. Like we're actually
Okay.
like strangers.
Yeah.
What's the play?
Then I'd be like, let's do the thing that they did in the show. You know, the
You want to do the odd even thing?
guessing. Yeah.
Okay.
let's
I
do
guess
that.
it's about the same as what I was gonna say. Just like you have two different color marbles. Like I put one of the colored marbles in like whatever was there, or just in my hand. Like no, not even in my
Mhm.
hand. Just like put it somewhere. And now I'm like, take your time. Take all 20 minutes to decide which color I put in there. Like that'd be so dramatic.
And that's it. You just want to do it once, like
Yeah, just once. You have to, but like we talk, we have a conversation back and forth, and you're just trying to figure out the whole time if I put like a green marble in or a yellow one.
So
And then
here's
with
my
like 30
question.
seconds left, we
Did
check.
you pay attention to which color you put over there, or are you just blind picking?
You don't know.
No, but I'm asking you as your strategy. What would your strategy be?
Oh, what would my strategy be? Oh, what I know what color I put in. Oh, that's a good point. Probably not, right? I don't know if I would have actually thought about that. But I don't know. I don't know how long I would have talked before. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I just like the idea of that game as opposed to, like, so one. Some guys are just like, let's wait until there's like a minute left and let's throw one rock at this step, and whoever's closest to the step it wins.
Uh-huh.
And
that is also from the show. So
oh, is it also from the show?
Like,
okay.
like a lot of these things, there are a reason people pick. Like in the actual show, there are these two girls who are really close. Like they become really close real fast, and so they're obviously upset about having to do this, and so they want to spend their whole like 20 minutes or whatever just talking or whatever, and so they do this, and then one of them like throws it purposely bad to save the other one. So it's like this big thing in the show. So like there's a lot of things that people have seen in the show and then just decide to do because they're like, oh yeah, I did that and it feels right.
Okay. I like the idea of like somebody does something early on in the clock and then the other person has the rest of the clock to come up with their answer. Like, I feel like that's just interesting.
I don't know how I feel about the one thing and done though.
Oh, you want to play like guess the color, like best of 7 or something? No, that's not fun.
Well, maybe not that particular thing that you've chosen, but like, something where you have multiple throws to try to do it, to gain back, where it's not just down to, I fucked up once. Or if you're doing
There's no fucking
hiding
up
in your
with
hand and
choose a
like
color though. That's why I
well,
like
yeah,
it.
I guess that's true, but it just feels so significant when you break it down to
That's
just
why
one,
it's so awesome. That's why it's so epic.
Okay. You're going for the dramatic moment.
Now,
All right.
if I offered to pick the color, would you prefer to pick the color or to guess the color?
I think I'd prefer to pick the color. I would blind pick it. So therefore I'm not stressed. Like I did the thing, it's done, whatever, it's out of my hands now.
Oh, okay. So then you would be like, I wouldn't actually be able to read you the whole time, no matter what we talked about. Okay.
Yeah,
that's good play. I would let you do it. And then overthink it, and then just take a 50-50 ultimately. I would let you pick the color if you wanted to.
Okay.
And then, yeah, of course, there has to be like conditions, like if there is no marble in the cup or whatever, then you lose. Like if you cheated, yeah. But like,
yeah.
because that wouldn't fly. Like I think you would. Like if you try to do something deceptive, then the person you're against just like won't agree that you won, and then you both get eliminated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you actually have to like come up with a game that you both agree to, and there won't be any
Mm-hmm.
like controversy. Like if you wait to the last minute and then there's like a controversy, like you're not gonna resolve it in 60 seconds.
In the time, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. So yeah, all right. This show, like, edit means nothing on this show at this point. Like, so the only person that we highlighted in the first 2 episodes at this point after the marbles game is Trey 301. I think everybody else we talked about in the first
is
podcast is gone. Jada's gone.
Jada, is she gone?
Yeah, she's gone.
She gets eliminated in
Jada
here. Okay,
gets gone
yeah,
here.
yeah. You're right. Everybody.
Incredible.
Yep.
All right, back to the dormitory. This is when I think the tests start getting really good.
Mm-hmm.
They become more social or skill based. There's still luck. I mean, this one's not so much luck.
And at this point, we're also down to 31 players, which also makes
is that where we're at now? Okay.
Yeah, we're at 31 players, so like you theoretically have spoken to everyone in this group more than once, probably.
16
like
days, like it's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yes, they're at 31, but we're gonna find out the show wants them to be down to 20 for the next game. So we're gonna play. What's the next game is gonna be called? Test of Allegiance. But before they find out what the game is, they have to again, all 31 of them have to agree on a leader.
Yes. And this is where
here we go.
Well, I guess he came up during Warships.
Oh, he was also the leader in Warship, yeah. But this is when it gets good.
This is TJ 182. He's a like former basketball player. He's got big coach vibes, He's always talking people up and being all positive and shit. Yeah. And so he's like, I'll be the leader.
All right, we have to talk about TJ 182. One of probably the funniest character on the season for me.
Okay.
I have some TJ 182 quotes. These are
all right. Hit me.
TJ 182. When I was watching him, I was like, TJ 182 is like if you ask like Chat GPT to like be a coach of like a 13-year-old soccer team or like something. Like that's TJ 182's personality.
Fair.
So these are some classic TJ 182 quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Humility and gratitude.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. That one comes up a lot.
No fear, no glory.
Mm.
Attack the moment. And then here's when it gets really good. These are some things he said in confessional. He gets elected to pick leader, or people say, yeah, I'm cool with him being leader, and then he just wants to make sure. He wants to make sure, so he makes a speech to everybody. Some people are sleeping when this decision happens, by the way.
Yes.
He's like, if y'all trust me, I need 100% trust. And if I get that trust, y'all have my undivided attention. I couldn't even say it without laughing. Y'all have my undivided attention. But it gets better.
If he has 100% trust. Yep.
But it gets better. In a confessional after he's like finally captain. In confessional, they must have asked him like, how does it feel to be captain? And he says, it makes me feel extremely humbled and extremely gratuitous.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, TJ 182, so good. Now we've heard you've seen the show. You've seen what TJ 182 has to offer.
Yeah.
You saw what he brings to the table as a leader.
Yeah. I mean, his team did win battleships or warships or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, he was so happy about that because like none of his ships sunk, so everybody on his team survived, right? So he was like really
that's true.
feeling himself.
Arguably the best leader of that game.
There you go.
You can't argue with those results.
But all right, you've seen how he leads.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Chat GPT to write a speech as the team leader on Squid Game: The Challenge.
Amazing.
All right, I'm gonna read to you this speech, and you tell me who you would rather be your leader.
Okay.
Chat GPT or TJ 182. All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We've made it this far. and we've faced challenges that most people can only imagine. But here we are, standing strong and ready for whatever comes next. We might be competitors, but we're also a team. Each one of us brings something unique to the table, and together, we're a force to be reckoned with. In this game, trust is everything. We need to support each other and communicate and work together if we're going to succeed. We've seen the stakes. We know what's at risk. And let's not lose sight of who we are. We're not just players in a game. We're human beings with hearts, dreams, families rooting for us. We need to stay focused, stay sharp, and never forget that our actions in this game have consequences behind these challenges. Let's play with courage, determination, and above all, let's show the world what it makes to face adversity head on. We can do this together. Are you with me?
Damn, ChatGPT. I mean, a little long-winded, but I feel motivated as hell right now.
I don't think ChatGPT like really knows what Squid Game challenge is, but that speech worked though.
It did.
It made it work. To be fair, like ChatGPT is probably better than leader than I would be as well, but I'll take ChatGPT over TJ182. He's gonna do like a prayer circle also at one point, which they showed like one of the contestants like rolling their eyes, like that would totally be me. Oh
yeah.
That was but TJ182, what a great comedy character on this show.
But not only that, he inspires the All Women's Alliance because like it's literally two of the women are like, well, I guess that happened and he's in charge, men being men, I guess. And then they're like, wait a minute, there's only 9 women left. Let's be an alliance. So,
Yeah.
he was inspiring, just maybe not in the way he meant to be.
He was so uninspiring that people are like, how do we fix the situation? All right, talk to me, Sarah, about the Women's Alliance. We talked about women's alliances back on our Survivor podcast.
My knowledge of women's alliances, which I've mostly gotten from you, is just that they fall apart immediately. Like, they never last. They come up all the time, but they do not hold.
And, like, they shouldn't really, in my opinion, like, unless all the women happen to actually vibe the best with each other, right?
Okay.
Like what always bothers me about, like, in this scenario, it's like, well, we can talk about it when we get to the actual game, but like these women decide to be an alliance, but like it's not really a show where like 9 people can be in an alliance, right?
But you know what? It does work for this test. It works out, not exactly perfectly.
Yeah.
And it is a way to counteract the unspoken natural alliance that kind of happens between dudes that they don't know that they're doing, but just kind of happens,
Yeah, I guess so. But ultimately, like, this only works because men are not doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
It also works because we have a lot of queer people filling in the gaps that like are like, okay, I will support the Women's Alliance. So like, I kind of love how this does play out.
But the person that leads this, like, if you're going on these shows, like survival shows like this,
yeah,
like, you're a woman, do the Women's Alliance things, but don't like be the person who's actually like 100% committed to the Women's Alliance and like this is your entire strategy. Like, don't be that person.
You got to be loosely aligned with the women.
Yeah, exactly. Like, use it as it's a card that's in your hand that you can use and it gives you a little bit of advantage. It's the same thing. Like, I don't consider myself like a dude bro, but if there's dude bros, I can pretend to be a dude bro. It's like
yeah.
Like, I'll use that to my advantage, but I'm not actually like all in with.
You don't want to get deep in with the dude bros, so you get targeted with the dude bros.
Yeah. But I'm totally fine with being like cool with them and being like, we got to stick together, us dude bros. I'm actually just gonna go with the people I actually like, So the woman that I would call out as being the I'm all in on the Women's Alliance idea is Amanda 019. That's my pick. Okay. And we get into these situations a lot going forward where like one person decides that this is the best strategy for a large group of people.
Yes. And then gets annoyed when other people are not
they're
as
shocked
enthusiastic about it.
Not everybody was cool with their idea.
Yeah.
Amanda's her confessional, her backstory like really stood out to me because she's like her story is like basically Legally Blonde,
Yes,
except
exactly. Except without the like dumb guy subplot. Just like she's likes to
well,
dress
she
like a
didn't talk about
Barbie.
that, but
Well, okay. I
I assume her
mean,
life's exactly the same.
except she's like a weapons engineer or
She's a
something,
weapons
or what
engineer
was
for
it?
the Navy, and like this
Yeah,
just can't be right. Like, is she talking about like the like in England or the Great
yeah, yeah,
Britain?
yeah. Because
Like,
she's British, so
she made
yeah.
it seem like she just rolled up and had no experience whatsoever and became a
I'm
weapons engineer in the Navy.
No, I'm pretty sure she had experience. It's just on her first day she rolled up with her like a sparkly pink briefcase or whatever
Okay.
her equivalent like Barbie essentially look was, and everybody went, well, she's not gonna make it. And then
Okay.
she fucking owned and like ended up being in charge of everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's an amazing
Legally
story.
Blonde British military version. So yeah, it's amazing.
Okay. Yeah. Amazing backstory.
So yeah, I'm not surprised she's big in on the Women's Alliance, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, she's all in on this. He's the captain. The game is Test of Allegiance, and all this ends up being now TJ. I like that they did this too. Like TJ is just going to end up being safe immediately.
Yeah.
Which is they had to start doing this because
Otherwise, you're going to stop volunteering for
yeah,
leaderness.
like even at 31 people, like I'm not volunteering to be leader, but I
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely if I thought TJ liked me or was good with me, like I'd definitely be like, yeah, TJ, you totally should be the leader. So yeah, it's just basically going to be a chain selection where TJ picks somebody and then they also become safe, and then that next person picks another person until they get to 20
All
people.
the way up until we get 20 people, yeah.
And then whoever's left, whatever the 11 people are left, they're just all eliminated. So it's finally like a pretty pure like social kind of test. Like there's some randomness if like somebody doesn't know what to pick and then they just happen to pick you, but for largely it's actually not random.
Yeah.
It's random in that you didn't know that what the game was going to be, but you should have tried to build some sort of social structure where you could have just like survived a situation like this at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
What's so funny here is that like TJ 182 thinks that like him and my 287 are like cut from the same cloth, right?
Yeah,
He's
or I can't tell. Like, does he say that in a confessional? I don't remember that. I feel like he might have thought she'd be a good ally to have, and maybe that's why he picked her.
No, he was like, when I look at 287, I see a lot of myself, and I know when she looks at me,
yeah.
she sees herself in me too. And then like they show a scene where like, because I think my 287 was like asleep when they selected TJ. One of the people.
Oh no, her buddy Chad was. So they were like shit talking him.
Might have
then.
both been asleep. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But she's just like, I don't trust him at all.
I actually can't tell if how much my liked TJ, but like when she's talking to Chad, who was upset that TJ was elected captain while he was sleeping, she was like, yeah, I don't know about TJ being captain. and then the selection starts and TJ just like, I'm for sure 100% I gotta pick my 287.
And then they're holding hands and she's sobbing and just like, thank you so much. I knew you had my back. Like, it's a whole thing.
And then like some guy that like heard my talking to Chad about how she didn't like TJ was like, oh my god, he picked her.
And then like after this is all done, like she is swearing allegiance to him later. She's like, I owe you everything in this game. Like, it's
that's so good. That's what you should do.
Over the top and hilarious.
That's absolutely what you should do. Because why would they not believe you? Like they legit saved you. Why would they not believe you? Screw them over later if you feel like it.
Now she did not get an opportunity to screw him over, so we don't know how that would have turned out. But you know,
she would have. Yeah. But immediately though, TJ picks a woman
who is part of the Women's Alliance.
You know, she didn't lead the thing, but she got called over to a meeting in which everybody was a woman. And then was told, hey, there's a women's alliance now.
But then she was like, oh yeah, this sounds good, and started gathering other women to the alliance. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to
do.
So
from their perspective, she looks like she's all in, and then she chooses a man next, which, you know, is fine because he's her closest ally.
The guy
in this game.
is actually her best friend in the game.
Yeah,
and I think there was another guy she would have chosen over. Like if she had two picks, I don't think she's choosing a woman.
Yeah, probably.
And that's what you like should do. Like ultimately, this is why women's
Yeah.
alliances don't work, because like there's nothing to actually.
It's too shallow.
Yeah, it's so
Like,
shallow of a bond. Yeah.
yeah. And there's like so many women that like even if it's a, advantage in numbers now, like you still don't have any particular one who's like your go-to who you can sort of trust in this game,
Yeah, it's like cool. I made a
there's too
women's
many.
alliance. Like these 5 women or 6 women called me over as the last woman for this women's alliance. Great, awesome.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they were doing it like very publicly too, which I particularly thought was pretty shameless.
Oh yeah. Well, Mai was also to blame for that because she was literally like yelling like to the other women who weren't there yet, like, "Here, come join the female group. We're gonna do an alliance." And I'm like, Mai, what are you doing? Why are you being so loud right now?
As thankful as I am that Mai won the show, I don't think Mai's actually like particularly like a great player of Squid Game.
She just happened to be the best of people who are not that good at being that strategic.
Everybody else is
at
just
the end of this
trash tier at these survival reality games. They're just so bad that she just stands out amongst the terribleness. But we have much more to complain about going forward.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, she doesn't pick a man, but then Chad does pick a woman.
Nope, he picks the Irish bro.
Okay, somehow
and then he picks a woman.
Yeah,
and then you get a bunch of women in a row until you get to one who's like, but if I pick my bestie and tell him to pick a woman, it's okay, right? And she does, and he does, and he doesn't. I don't think. Wait,
no, he does. He does. He's like he has his whole speech about I think like representation is important, and then he picks a woman.
No. That's at the very end. This is early. Oh yeah, okay. So Phil picks Ashley. Ashley picks Sam. Sam goes back to women. Yeah. So it does like it alternates in there for a little bit, but all the women in the women's alliance do get in this final 20.
Yeah.
And Trey is still here, still kicking it.
It works out, but the two like I have more respect for the people that didn't pick a woman. Like no, like
because now some of the women like their go-to was a woman, so it was easy. You know?
That's all. Yeah, but that's just them basically like getting people to do what is just good for their game. It's all good. It's all good. Like the one girl though, like she has to pick her buddy because probably nobody's like her buddy's gonna get eliminated. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't work out. This like I'm actually kind of shocked more people weren't worried about that, but I guess they were just very committed to the women's alliance. I guess.
And I think like just some like there were groups of women still. This just connected some of those groups of women. Like particularly there was like I think 3 Black women who were hanging out as a group, and so they like easily picked each other, and it just strung together well.
I think what bothered me about this one in particular was just how sloppily it was done and how publicly it was done. Like,
yeah,
if this was a proper alliance that people were afraid of, which is probably what the objective of making the alliance is, correct? To some degree. Wouldn't, like, if the guys wanted to counterplay this, they would have just not picked anyone. Like, the way that they went about doing this was like, if everybody was playing, like, against them, like they were talking about, they would have just been eliminated. Nobody, like, all women could have got eliminated.
Yeah.
Because Amanda's picking first. Amanda's picking first.
Yeah.
They don't know that yet when they make it, but.
Yeah. But I think, like you do largely get the men in this final thing who were already sort of aligned with women. Like the guys who only hung out with guys in the dorm didn't get through. You know?
Yeah. But it's sloppy. Like when you don't know what the game is, and knowing what the game turned out to be, it's like everybody in the dormitory, we're making a women's alliance. Let's go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That should like, not have been how it went down.
If the wrong person is the leader.
Yeah, you're totally boned. Yeah.
You're all gone. You're all gone. Mm-hmm. So do the women's alliance and make it a thing, but like have small conversations over the course of 16 days. Don't just wait until final 31 and be like, maybe we should do this.
I think they got extremely lucky and it worked out really well. And then immediately it was never like it abandoned. Like after this, you don't hear about the women's alliance ever again. Yeah, like it is not used in any of the decision making going forward.
Oh, it's used in decision making.
Is it?
In the opposite way.
Well, yeah, that's true. Some people get a little bit of a grudge
these games are good.
About mine.
These games are good at making you turn on your allies. There we go. All right.
That's true.
So we got 20 people. We survived this easy, right? Sarah, You get
As long as I have
Sarah.
As long as I've done my work and I've gotten in the Women's Alliance, yeah, we're fine. We're good.
You're number 19. There's one more woman.
Oh yeah,
left,
yeah. What I'm saying is I got picked because I was in the Women's Alliance, so then I can pick you. It's easy.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we're good. But
that's our entry point into this. I'm not saying that I sacrifice you for the Women's Alliance.
Yeah, but what if I don't pick a woman after you pick me?
You just said it was I was 19. You don't get a choice after that.
I was gonna make you choose between the last woman and me, but you said that's an easy choice.
Oh, yeah, of course that's an easy choice. I talked to that woman for the first time this afternoon. She's nothing to me.
Say you're like mine, you're going second, or like you're in the middle somewhere, and there's still like 3.
Oh, if I'm going second, really don't have to worry about it. It's when you get into the middle to end, but not quite the very end, that it gets a little.
I hope you're picking me. Right.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna
you're picking me,
pick you. Just gonna. I have to look a little more uncomfortable about it and hem and haw a bit. You know what? I got to do the whole thing.
What I'm asking is like, what do I have to pick a woman now? Like, what's going on? Like,
it depends
if you pick
on
me. Do I have to pick a woman? And if I don't pick a woman, how does that work out for our relationship?
It depends on who else we're hanging with in this dorm. You know, if we got a third person who we're really in with, like. Yeah, pick that person. But if I'm probably, given that I know that all women's alliances fail and are fairly shallow, and it has just formed this afternoon, I'm probably not that worried about it.
Because from my perspective, knowing that, assuming you have been roped into this public, very, very public women's alliance, I don't think I'm picking a woman after you pick me. I'm just going to be honest.
No. You just got to get in there as an ally, you know? Like... That's all.
Unless, like, if we had a third person that week, we were like, okay, this person's with us over any other alliance. Like, I'll pick them regardless of whether a man or a woman. But, like, if it just feels like it's you and me and we really aren't 100% sure about anybody else, it's like, well, it feels like if I pick a woman, all the women are going to make it through. And I guess they still don't have majority, and, like, maybe it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, they still don't have majority.
It would be a factor in my head that... Like,
but you have to think about it in terms of you have an in with that theoretical alliance, too.
That's true, yeah.
You're not just a random guy. You're a random guy attached to the women's alliance.
Yeah. It's more of a scenario. It's like, oh, if there's like a woman I would want to pick next and a guy would want to pick next, it might, like, tilt it that I might pick the guy because this women's thing is, like, way too public, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. All right, we survived. I'd pick you, Sarah.
I mean, I would assume after all of this
Even if I thought you would chain reaction the women together, I'd still pick you.
You're not going to worry about the dude bro alliance over me? You know, this is not an issue I got to worry about?
No, I'm worried about the women's alliance. Taking me out because I'm not a woman.
No, I mean...
It's like the worst way to
do I have to worry about the dude bro alliance that you have loosely associated yourself with at this point? In the same way that I've loosely associated myself with the women.
I doubt that the dude bro alliance would be my main alliance, but no, I would have nothing against chain reaction the women in a row.
Yeah,
unless it was just like, I don't know, it depends. It should probably be very emotional.
Unless you're like the third pick,
once you're selected, it's like,
literally only women left. Yeah.
Once we're both through, it's like, yeah. Honestly, you're right. Like the women's alliance might actually make me survive if we're in the game together. But yeah, I need you to play with me, Sarah. Come on. I need you.
You know other women.
No. I mean, I know other women, but none of them are gonna 100% pick me over everybody else in the game.
Go with your sister and don't tell anyone she's your sister.
That's a good idea.
Oh well, you gotta like one of your sisters. You look a lot alike, so you gotta pick the other one. I don't remember if you look a lot alike like her or not, but I don't know. I think you do.
Okay. All right, we survived. You picked me. We're in the top 20. Let's go. All right. We both survived marbles too.
It's convenient how we keep surviving. Okay,
it's insane. We're steamrolling.
We're so good at this.
So we're down to 20, and the next game is going to be Glass Bridge, which is definitely from the show, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happens in the show is, okay, there's this bridge you got to go across, and you have two options at every point. Like, it's like this glass, one it breaks through when you stand on it, the other one doesn't. And so you have to keep choosing left or right all the way through. And so the order in which you go is very important because as soon as you fall through, obviously you are eliminated. So in the show, they bring them into a room where they don't know what they're about to do, but they have a bunch of like mannequins with these like runner bibs on, with big numbers on them. And they explain nothing to them. It's like 1 to 20. And they're just like, pick one. And so people pick them. And that's the order they have to go across the bridge. So they obviously can't do that now because everybody knows you don't want to go across the bridge first. You want everyone else to fall through and pave the way for you. So they did a really convoluted thing in this show instead, which seemed really weird, but I guess it worked out.
Okay, so the claw machine number selection is not in the show.
Correct.
Okay. So there's like this big ass claw machine with teddy bears, and on the inside of each teddy bear is a number. And then when it's your turn to pick a teddy bear, whatever number you get to see the number and then decide who to give it to, as long as that person doesn't already have a number.
Extra level of weirdness. Yeah.
And it creates tension in the moment because like they're guessing that it's going to be they tell them it's Glass Bridge before this, I believe. So everybody knows kind of like what the numbers mean when they're handing them out. So basically a low number is like you're done, and then and then high number is you have a good chance. Like there ends up being like 17 jumps. So if every jump's like 50-50, like if they just straight go like 1 keeps jumping until they fall, 2 keeps jumping until they fall, on average you're gonna lose like 8 or 9 people. So once you get to number 9 and 10, you start being a number that's more likely to survive than get eliminated. But whatever. The only point of note I have here is that somebody gives TJ number 1, so he's like fucked. But then
but they give the excuse of like, well, he's the leader. Who else could lead us across this bridge?
That's classic. That's why you're not the leader. Okay.
Yep. But then he picks number 20.
Then he gets 20, and then he gets. Great. But then he gives it to Mai again, right?
Yeah. After she gave a big, I'm a lead. You have my undying alliance speech. Yep, worked out for her.
Even when he was dead in the water, he still came by. TJ. 1A2 coming up big for Mai here.
Yeah.
All right, so they all get numbers. Whatever.
No, not whatever. There's a strategy here. Like, if you pick a bad number, you got to give it to somebody who already picked a number.
Sorry, yeah. It's so obvious that I didn't mention it, but yeah, the show doesn't talk about that. Some people don't do that. Like
a lot of people don't do that.
It's actually like it's basically like the voting thing again. It's like vote for somebody that's already voted, and then they can't vote for you in response. And if you get a good number,
the opposite, if you get a good number, someone who hasn't gone yet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or your fun ally.
It seems obvious, but they don't do it.
But they didn't do it, so I feel the need to say it.
Yes, we should talk about it. This podcast is a little bit of like, all right, if you're on the show, how do you win? How do you actually give yourself a better chance to win? Because chances are, based on what we've watched, other people aren't doing that. So
not at all.
You actually might win the show just by not being as terrible as everybody else. All right, so they get their numbers, and then they go out to the Glass Bridge. There's going to be a 30-minute time limit here. We talked about this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's no way they're all getting eliminated, but it's enough. Like they've seen what happens, so they do feel the pressure. Plus, again, like you were saying, they've definitely paused the clock for production purposes. Because you said you read an article that when they get
about how they actually did this, because like it's just like a trap door that opens up and you see people fall through it. But what they really did is when somebody stepped on a thing, they would tell them if it was the right choice or not, and if it was the wrong choice, they would remove that person and replace them with a stunt double, and then have them fall through, and then did a bunch of CG later to get it all looking spooky.
The fall is pretty far. I was like, that was a significant fall, but you don't see the bottom. Well, you don't see the bottom.
Yeah. Also, the distance is a little bit like that's some CG-ness is how far they fall to. Yeah.
Okay. If there's a big airbag at the bottom, like a stunt person isn't going to get hurt falling on the airbag. But if they drop these random people that have never done the drop before,
that don't know how to fall, they're going to get hurt. Absolutely.
I was like, even if this drop is just a little bit past where the camera is, like somebody's getting hurt no matter what they're landing on.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's stunt doubles actually makes a lot of sense.
So this is probably another one of those that took like fucking hours to film, you know?
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody gets to the platform. You know, TJ's. He's like, well, there's no way I'm surviving. 17 jumps, but you know, it is what it is. He's getting ready to jump. But then
Yep.
somebody comes up with a strategy. I believe this is Roland.
Yes, it is Roland.
Also, I think Roland is the second person that Mai would have picked if she was allowed to save two people.
Yeah, yeah.
Roland 418, who I believe for this game is number 8. So he's right in that middle area where number 8, you're probably more likely to get eliminated in this than not if you just play out in number order.
Yes.
It sounds like maybe you are not about the strategy. I actually think this is a very smart plan.
It is a smart plan, but the biggest issue I have with this is not necessarily the plan itself. It is the falling apart of this plan that you can anticipate will happen, and then the lack of repercussions for that falling apart. But I will get to that in a little bit.
So you have 17 tiles to jump, and you have 20 people. So there's a bit of a, like, you have like a 3-person wiggle room where like only 17 people have to agree to this plan. But it's basically a 50-50 strategy where like, so TJ's going to go first. He's going to jump, make his first jump. And then if he falls, they see where he falls. If he gets it right, everybody knows where to jump. And then whoever the next person is in line, like TJ doesn't make the second jump, and then the next person in line makes the second jump instead. And then they keep passing each other like that so that everybody only has to take one jump.
Right? Yeah,
right?
so everybody has a 50-50 chance of surviving this thing.
I actually think that's fair in this scenario, especially if there's a time limit. Because like if I'm number whatever my number is, like
your number what if 16. I just don't jump? Does this feel fair? Does it still feel fair?
I think I'm fine with it because like if I was a low number, like I'm 100% eliminated. Like if your number like 1 through 4, say,
yeah,
it would be crazy lucky to not get eliminated if you're like 1 through 4. So why am I jumping at all? Why am I jumping at all? Like I the only way I survive is to stalemate everybody and force them to jump instead of me. Like it becomes like a
yeah.
It's because there's a time limit and everybody knows everybody's going to be limited. So my only play is to be like, I'm not jumping unless we come up with some sort of plan where I'm not jumping all these things. So if I'm 16, it's like if I have a high number, and I probably would survive if it just played out normal. But I'm also like, well, I probably lose the clock. Like I should lose the clock if we don't agree to this plan, you know? So I think I've just agreed to the plan. I honestly think you just have to do this plan.
It feels like you can count on somebody else to give in. Like if one person's gonna just be like, I'm not gonna go unless we do this, like somebody will give in. Or if everybody else is gonna like not agree to a thing and nobody's gonna move, like production is gonna step in. You're not all gonna be eliminated. The concept of fair is weird because what is fair in this game that only one person can win at the end? Like, what was the point of the social part of the game earlier where you pick the numbers? If not, this is the consequence. It feels a little weird. I'm okay with it, but I know it's gonna break down at a certain point. Like, there's no way that everybody all the way up through player number 17 is gonna agree to this weird thing. Now, it surprises me a lot more people like follow through with this than I anticipated. But going into it, cynical me would be like, there's no way that everybody's gonna do this.
That was my initial reaction as a spectator, was to be like, I don't expect this to work, but it's a plan. But then after thinking about it a little bit longer and seeing how it's playing out, I was like, you just have to do it. Like I might have said the word fair. Like I'm not saying what's fair and what's not fair here. I just think like this is the plan that you should do. Like I'm not risking losing the clock.
Yeah. But it's presented with this idea of fairness that it's just like feels false to me.
Oh yeah.
And sure. I don't know. So it rubs me the wrong way that way. But like ultimately for the social part of the game, you do want to agree to do it, because if you make it through and you're the only person who said, no, I'm not doing it, you'd think there would be consequences, but there fucking aren't. And then I'm mad about it.
Yeah, we have to talk about specifics about this plays out, because I definitely have some questions about what actually played out. Yeah. And again, this is, it's not about being fair. It's just like, I would be frustrated with somebody that doesn't agree to this plan, because it's like, not only is it the only plan that anybody came up with, but it's actually like probably the smartest plan that you could come up with.
Yeah.
So if you're not agreeing to the plan, it's not about being fair or not fair. It's just like, this is the best thing to do, or we're losing the clock.
Yeah. And I agree on all that. It's just how it plays out makes me annoyed, and how it was presented, and that's my big problem with it.
Okay. Yeah. So there's no rule that said like if you're number 1, you have to jump first. Like, was that an actual rule?
Well, the rule they were given was the numbers you get is the order you will go across.
Oh yeah,
I wrote down
the phrasing. It just says determine the order in which you will cross. But like, did they come up with this plan and then say to production like, hey, can we do it this way? And then production was like, yeah. Or like, did they have to change the rules on the fly to allow this?
I don't think so, because like in the original show, there is the douchebag of the show who gets to a certain point where he's in the front and he's like, well, I'm not going. You all can pass me. So like there is precedence in the real show to be like,
are you saying he's a
somebody
douchebag in the
people.
like he's outside of this game?
Oh,
he was a douchebag in the show, or like?
Oh yeah.
It's just like what you have to do to survive the game.
He was the villain character throughout the show, so and he happens to pull this move here.
Well, if I didn't come up with this plan and nobody else did, I would be the villain. I'd be like, I'm number 4, guys.
Well,
I'm not jumping.
I mean, but he's also like he took the person behind him and like threw him into the glass in front. Like that's the kind of villain I'm talking about here.
Okay.
But there is precedence for like not going exactly in the order that you've been given.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
I think they probably didn't have to.
Let's get to the moment that you want to talk about. So we have Trey 301 still alive, the only person, the last survivor from the first podcast.
And he's the only person that has not fallen through on his pick so far. He's number 3.
The first 2 fall. Okay.
Yeah, it's great. TJ gives a big speech. He's all like, "Yeah, we're a team or whatever." And then immediately falls through. It's kind of funny.
TJ being the great leader he is, he was just ready to fall on his sword.
Yep.
And then this plan came and he was like, yes, this plan's going to save me. And then he jumps and he falls through the first thing anyway.
Yeah, it's a bummer for him, but kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, it was awesome. Great way for TJ. 182 to go. So we got the Trey 301. And Trey 301 is number 3 in this game. And he survives there. So you think it was fall. And
it was
then
fall, and then
3.
He's the first one to survive.
Yeah, and then like as you when you jump to the next one, the next number order is like ultimately like it doesn't even really matter what order they go in, but they are following their number order.
Yes.
Like basically you're like you occupy your panel, so he's on like the 3rd panel, and then number 4 is behind him, and number 5 is, and then everybody else is still on the platform basically.
Yeah. And so number 4 is like, do you want me to come and take the next guest like we agreed we would do? And he's just like, yes, please. And so she does, but she falls through.
Yeah.
So
Trey advances.
He moves up to the next safe panel, and the next person in line is Ashley. Mm-hmm. I don't remember her number. 278.
278.
And she doesn't say anything, and he doesn't directly ask, but he turns around and he's like, I don't know, do you guys think I deserve to be number 3? And everybody's like, no. And like Roland and people are like, remember, it's 1 each, guys. That's the only way it's fair. And at some point, Ashley like turns around to Roland and she's like, oh, you're talking? Like what? Like she's just like, and she even turns to the person behind her. She's like, if you want to overtake, feel free. Like Trey never directly asks her to take over, and she never like tells him no, like directly. But it is very clear that she is not going to overtake for Trey.
Yes. This is the confessional we get from Ashley. He says, I'm confused as hell because I don't remember agreeing to this. I'm not sacrificing myself when I already have a low number. If it comes to me having to stand on one spot until y'all asses move past me, and that's the best thing for me, that's what I'm going to do. So that's like the post-game confessional she gives. I was a little bit curious as to like how much of a favor she's doing production with this confessional. I don't know. Like, I guess it's probably actually how she felt.
I have seen an interview with her since the filming, and she has not changed her tune at all. Like she says the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ashley's just not good at this game. I'll just say that.
I mean, except she comes out flawless. Like, it works out for her.
Well, it works out for her because she eventually does it. But this confessional makes no fucking sense because she's basically like bragging about having a better number than Trey, but her number is also a number that is screwing her over. So this plan that they came up with is 100% good for her. Like, if people don't do this plan, she's gone.
And she does sound like she would be willing to not even move forward when she's in the front of the line and make everybody else pass her, but she doesn't commit to that either.
Yeah, and that's where I'm confused. I don't have a problem with her being like, screw it, these people are suckers. If I don't jump at all, then I never have to take a jump because they'll just jump for me. Like I'm
Yeah.
good with that. But how does this happen? So ultimately, Trey is going to jump again because nobody overtakes. I will point out it's not just Ashley who doesn't overtake. Like everybody behind Ashley also could have overtake. So
Yeah,
it's
that
not
is true.
all on Ashley, which may and then like you're I think what you're really frustrated with is that like there is no fallout really for Ashley from this
Not
decision.
only that. So Trey goes forward, safe. Goes forward again, falls through. Then Ashley goes forward, does one jump, turns to the person behind her and goes, "Well, you overtaking?" And I think it's like Perna, and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, of course, we agreed to it." No, like if I were behind her, I'd be like, "Nah, bitch, you're in the front now. You made the choice that we
Nah,
weren't doing the thing, so we're not doing the thing.
no,
Go."
you got to just jump
I mean, that's
through.
what I'd want to say, but given that the whole social aspect, I probably wouldn't. But I'm just like pissed in this moment, you know?
Yeah, Ashley, she jumps and she doesn't fall, and she says, "One of y'all better pass me up. I ain't hopping down this whole goddamn bridge." uh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm wondering is so like you and I, Sarah, probably are people that maybe aren't good in awkward situations,
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I would talk a big talk on the
I
podcast, but I would be like, no, thank you in real life.
yeah, I mean, I have to put a lot of blame on Trey here for why he gets himself
Okay.
eliminated because he's already number 3. Like
Mm-hmm.
theoretically, he should be prepared to stall out the game and have everybody lose. but then
That's
he
true.
but then he gets this plan and it's like, okay, I have to do one jump. All right? And it's the plan is enough that everybody should be willing to do one jump. That's
Yeah.
that's how I feel. And if there's a couple people, there can be up to like 3 people who refuse to jump, and the plan still works.
Yeah.
Ashley is clearly somebody who doesn't mind being in awkward situations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't know, like, what this is. Like, is this a read by her being like, I can get this sucker to jump more if I just am
Oh,
awkward? But
probably.
then
Yeah.
what I don't get is like, why is everybody else? And what we're missing here is like, how much time did Trey wait for? But
Yeah.
like, if Trey makes the first jump and then he turns around to the group and says, "One of y'all better pass me. I ain't hopping
Uh
down
huh.
this whole goddamn bridge."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I think somebody passes him, even if it's not Ashley. But even Ashley, I
Yeah.
think, if he really like turned around and been like, "Yo, you gotta pass me, this is the plan," and then like was like, if you don't do the plan and nobody else does it, you're gonna get eliminated too, like really just like forcefully like talk to her, like she probably jumps. That's what I think. But Ashley was
Okay.
not afraid to just let Trey sit in the awkwardness
Yeah, that's
until
fair.
he did something. And Trey chooses to do nothing, basically. He doesn't say anything to anybody. He just chooses to do nothing until he just gets fed up and jumps. And I don't know how
Yeah.
long he waited, but like,
But it probably wasn't long enough. And it doesn't look like he asked anybody directly. Yeah.
I agree. Like, Ashley is making no sense in this scenario. It doesn't. She has to do a jump. Like, she doesn't have to do a
Mm-hmm.
jump. Like, go all in with "I'm not going to jump," or just do the jump. Right. Like,
Yeah.
unless
Mm-hmm.
did the entire like, is this a possibility? Like, Trey was picked very late in the test of allegiance.
Yeah, I think she's just more liked in this group than he is.
Yeah, but like, did the whole group want Trey to get eliminated in this game? Like, that's what I'm wondering. Like, because like nobody passes, which is crazy. That like it didn't
Yeah.
like Ashley's not the only person that could have overtook for Trey.
And especially like low number people who like knew that they were gonna have to take a jump regardless. What does it matter if it's sooner rather than later? If you're still just gonna do the one, go ahead and pass him
Be
down.
like, if you're number 6 here and Ashley's not moving, you're just like, well, I'm gonna have to jump once anyway. Like, I'm just gonna go jump,
Yeah.
look like a hero, or fall to my death.
And then
But
get this shit moving. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
but like, I hate to say this, but like, if I'm Leanne 302, I am very disappointed in how Trey handled the situation. I'm so disappointed in Trey
Fair. Yeah,
because
yeah,
all he
absolutely.
had all he had to do was turn around and say, "I'm not jumping. I did my jump." Like, you don't have to say it like Ashley said it, but
You just be like, I did my jump.
the way Ashley said it was fine. Like, it gets the message across. I'm not jumping. My ass ain't going anywhere. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
hopping the whole way down this bridge. Goddamn bridge. Like, just
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something. If he says anything, he survives.
Yes.
He beat Glass Bridge and then basically just decided to give up. And
Yeah.
it's like essentially, like, I would view it almost as like a quit to the game, honestly. Like, that's how
Yeah.
terrible it was.
That's fair.
So it's I'm very frustrated with the way Trey handled it. And I'm not, but like somebody like Ashley handling it the way she did on the show is like not surprising to me.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that. I am surprised by the lack of fallout, and I am presenting probably a little bit more hopped up about this particular moment than I was at the time because I'm madder about the shit that happens later.
Later, okay, but that's why I'm wondering. Like, was this kind of like a lot of people were in on this? Like, yeah, let's do the 50-50, but then let's like make Trey keep jumping. Like, I don't know. Is it more than just Ashley? Because Ashley gets no consequence to this, as if everybody was like happy that Trey gets screwed by this decision. I don't know. It's very odd. The only person we see actually be upset about it, even in the moment, I think is Mai, right?
No, in the moment, I did take notes on this the second time I like watched it because I wanted to know who like was being particularly terrible later.
Okay.
So like Roland, definitely, because he's the guy that comes up with the rule. Like he's like real. He says a couple times to her, even like, you know, it's only fair if somebody else steps up. Like it's your turn to go. And then he says to somebody else after like Trey falls that like, oh yeah, because she didn't go or whatever. And I think Sam also like has a moment of just like shouldn't have happened this way.
Oh, okay.
There were some other people, but I cannot find my notes on that right now.
All those people also could have overtook whatever their number was.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're mine, you're number 20, and you're like, I'd really rather not.
Yeah, there's no way I'm overtaking.
I'm kind of in the I mean, yeah. if you're a high number in this scenario, and there's a chance you might not have to jump, don't overtake for Trey. But if you're number 5 or 6, like
yeah,
7,
you're gonna have to jump anyway. You might as well do it.
It's grim either way. Like, might as well be like a hero moment. And maybe you guilt Ashley into doing. I don't know. Either way, do one jump and then be prepared to let the clock expire. I think that was well handled by the group, honestly, despite the Ashley Trey scenario.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it works out so smoothly after that.
I'm not, in retrospect, just because it's such the right thing to do. Like, I can't think of anything better to do than that. The only thing better to do, if you're willing to just play the standoff of, well, like you get, like, let's say you're like you're 17 and you have to make the last jump and you're just like, nah. Like, there's one jump left, somebody else can do it. Which again, like, I wouldn't do that because I would think that, you know, that might put a target on my back later. I'd just be like,
exactly, yeah.
Like, honestly, it's such a hard, it's such like a random game to survive that I'd just be satisfied with the 50-50 chance. But you could choose to play it more aggressively if you felt like it.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, let's go to the next test.
Yeah, so we're down to 12 people now after the bridge.
Yeah, so they lost 8. That's basically average. All right. The last like group of games is like very simple and doesn't take up that much time. So we actually get like a lot of like, oh, here are some alliances happening on the show.
Yeah.
I didn't get into we don't have to get into the alliances, but I just thought that was interesting that it's kind of, now that we're down to like 12, it's like, okay, let's actually find out, meet these people, who's friends with who, and we start to actually learn a little bit more. But when do they select a leader? They bring out the game. They kind of get to look at the game before they select a leader, right? They don't really know.
Yeah, the guards come out with like a rope and put it on the ground in like a triangle shape and put down a 6-sided die, and then they get asked to select a leader.
Yeah. Is there anything that you need to set up for what you're going to be upset about prior to the start of this game, or is it just basically what happened in the game that you're upset about?
It's just what happened in the game, pretty much.
Yeah. Somehow Mai gets elected as leader this time. TJ's not there.
Yeah, basically she just volunteers for it, and nobody like
TJ's selecting is nominating himself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As they select Mai, it's gone down to 12 people, so she volunteers herself, right? And then Chad kind of backs her up. Yeah. So she's at this point. Again, I would want one of my friends to be the leader, but again, I don't think I want to be leader. I kind of want to know.
You better make some friends because I would not be the leader.
But you have the whole women's alliance still alive.
Well, yeah, we'll get one of them to be the leader.
Yeah, we'll get one of them. Yeah. On most of these things, I don't mind going second. Even Dalgona, like, I could feel satisfied leaving the show if like I stood my ground on Dalgona and then I got eliminated and not picking Umbrella. But I
Okay,
wouldn't want to
okay.
go. I wouldn't want to go first because like that's too much of a chaotic scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Like people just need like a little bit of time to cook. Those people that were casted to pick Umbrella, they needed a little bit of time to cook to pick Umbrella.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Honestly, like if you want to go back to like Dalgona in terms of the where do you stand in line strategy, it depends on how many people they casted to pick Umbrella. But like if you just kind of like pick a line and you're towards the back, right? You're like you
Mm-hmm.
basically have a 25% chance of automatically being eliminated because it's not in your control of the
Yeah.
situation. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're at the front of the line and you get into the room and you get to be part of the decision making process, I don't know. I guess it depends on how many people, like the odds of there being an Umbrella person in your room. As long as
Yeah.
you're willing to stand your ground and like be convincing that you're not caving and like somebody else. I don't know. I don't know what's better. I don't know ultimately like what's a higher rate of passing the game.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what like I guess more it went 3 deep. So in the one sample size, it's like 2/3 of the people that went into the room got eliminated off the bat,
Yeah.
and then you have a 25% outside to automatically be eliminated. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough, but I'd be able to be fine with being eliminated that way, as opposed to like, God, I went in the back of the line and now I'm stuck with Umbrella because of fucking Spencer 299. You know, like that sucks. Like that would be such a shitty way to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, be second, third in line for a lot of these things. That's my advice.
Okay.
All right, we're about to take the die test. I don't know if they had a the dice test, but it's only one die. And basically, what is this? Want to explain the rules here? I
Okay.
feel like there's some rules
So,
missing, or these people just like did not figure out a way to hack this game.
yeah, I think this is again where we get some like let's do what's fair situation. So, the leader's going to go first and they have to roll this die, but before they roll the die, they either nominate someone to potentially be eliminated or they can nominate themselves to be potentially eliminated. And then they roll the die, and if they get a 6, either the person they nominated or themselves will then be eliminated. And they're going to keep doing this until 3 people have been eliminated. And the person who rolls picks the next person to roll.
And that's all it says, right? It's like you pick the next person
That's
to roll.
all it says.
It doesn't say like you have to pick somebody that hasn't rolled yet,
Correct.
right? So like my
So
gets to go first here, right?
yes.
And
But before she does that,
oh yeah, you
we
do
get
your whole thing on this.
yeah. So we get I think it's I don't have his number. Elliot suggests that everybody should just nominate themselves and they get this 1 in 6 chance they're going to be eliminated. That's the only fair way to do it.
Yeah, also terrible math, bro. There's 12 people and 3 people eliminated. You have a 25% chance of going home with this strategy.
Yeah,
Because
everybody
you're gonna have to keep rolling if everybody.
Yeah, everybody seems to forget that part.
Yeah, these people,
once somebody rolls and succeeds, they're just like, "Fuck yeah, celebration time!" I'm like, we didn't eliminate everyone else yet.
Like,
You're not safe. Calm down.
Exactly.
But so most people seem to agree to this. Mai does not say anything similar to how we did not see Ashley agree to the previous bridge strat.
Almost like
So
one person can't decide for a group of people.
Yeah.
There's the big theme in the show. One woman makes a woman's alliance. One person. It's not one person. It is like, probably a majority of the group. Like the majority of the women agreed to a women's alliance. Majority of the people agreed to the 50-50 glass bridge strategy. And a majority of the people are going to agree to the nominate yourself for the dice game.
Yes.
But yeah, a majority does not equal everybody, though. That's what. Hopefully, you're not one of these people that are shocked when that realization comes up in the show.
Oh, everyone was shocked. It was ridiculous because Mai, going first, immediately chooses Ashley because she wasn't a team player on the bridge. And everybody's just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, why would anyone ever pick Ashley? This is ridiculous. And I'm like, did you not witness the display of not teamwork that happened? This is a valid reason to choose someone to eliminate them. Do I think it's totally smart? Maybe not. Especially when you're with this group of people who are trying so hard to
Oh wait,
cooperate.
smart for
But
who? Smart for who?
for my like it
Oh,
doesn't seem necessarily the smart. It might not be. I don't know.
oh, we are
But
about
it is
to.
true that I don't think anybody was shit talking on Ashley before this. So it is like, I guess you get away with not following the quote unquote agreed upon rules. So I don't know where this is on the smartness scale, but everybody is taken aback and just scandalized by the fact that Mai would pick Ashley because she's so innocent. Why would she?
Yeah, like that's why I'm confused. Like, was there like a majority of people who was like out to get Trey, and that's why they're not upset about Trey going home that way? Like,
I
it
honestly
feels
think
weird.
it's Ashley is just more popular than both Trey and Mai.
More popular than Trey and Mai.
Like she has more relationships with people.
You said that, like, okay, is my strategy here good to not pick herself? 100%, it's a good strategy.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
100%. Now, again, I think it's a tough spot, and she probably should not have nominated. She probably should not have wanted to be the leader. I think that you don't want to
Yeah.
actually go first in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am interested to see what Mai would have done if, say, Ashley was eliminated by Glass Bridge and she was not available. I don't know what Mai would have done. I think Mai doesn't pick herself.
Well, I also am
Hopefully.
curious as to what Ashley does if Mai doesn't pick her here, because when we get around to like everybody except for Mai picks themselves until we get around to Ashley, when then like Roland rolls up and is like, you know, I don't want you to have any pressure to pick yourself just because you've already been targeted. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to pick Mai.
Yeah.
I don't see Ashley picking herself, even if this situation didn't happen.
In those two scenarios where like only one of them is in the game, I actually think it's more likely that Ashley picks herself.
Really?
Just because I feel like the Trey thing was just like an actual targeting for some reason. I don't know. Like, I think like say especially in the scenario where Mai picked herself to start and everybody has picked themselves when it gets to Ashley, I feel like Ashley might just go with the group at that point.
That is fair. On the bridge, there hasn't been there was only one person who moved ahead so far, and you can spot the weakness in Trey. And so, yeah, if she was maybe number 8 and everybody had picked so far, she maybe would have done the bridge right. Yeah. Okay.
The element on the bridge that I think Ashley got hung up on, and it's dumb for her to get hung up on this, is that like she really valued the number that she picked, and she felt this sense of superiority over the people that had lesser numbers than her. And like in this dice scenario, that doesn't exist, you know. So she doesn't feel like somehow she feel like she earned that 5, and Trey earned his shitty 3, and then that's why Trey has to jump before her. But in this game, there isn't an extra element of like, oh, we got an advantage and I deserve this advantage. You know, I think, yeah. So you were heated in this whole thing, right?
Yeah,
because like
I'm pissed at everyone, everyone except for Mai, because okay, so Mai says it's because Ashley wasn't, being part of the team. And Ashley's like, what do you mean? I took my jump. I'm like, she means you let that poor boy die on the bridge. You didn't go in front of him. Like, that's what she means. And everyone else is just like, oh, I can't believe she picked her. And then like going forward after this, people are talking shit on Mai for having picked Ashley. And Ashley doesn't even get eliminated. Like, Ashley's still around. Like, there were no consequences. And this is like a point where everybody just is like, I can't trust that Mai. Now, some of it does come from the Women's Alliance, where she immediately did not pick a woman in the, picking the next person to survive. But there are a lot of men who are like, I don't trust her. Like, what a conniving person. It's like, she had a totally valid reason for picking Ashley. What is wrong with all of you? You saw the same thing happen.
Yeah.
And so that's where I got really annoyed. Everybody's dumb, and it annoys me.
These people are awful. I'm equally heated about this whole dice game, but for a different reason. Okay.
Also, I do think the cooperation thing is dumb at this point, and I feel that's what you are heated for.
So dumb. It's not even about cooperation or not. It's just about being good at playing these games. Okay. So
yeah.
And then I totally agree. Ashley was definitely gaslighting Mai in that conversation. let me just
100%.
let me just rewrite history and ignore some of the events that happened to make you feel like
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
the one being unreasonable.
Mm-hmm. It gets to the point where Mai apologizes to Ashley at some
Well,
point, and it's like,
again, this is my being good at the game.
ugh.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that conversation was supposed to be apology. No matter how much Ashley was trying to refuse her apology, she was going to give that apology no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we go. So I will say this is tough. Like, say you're the leader right here. Say the Ashley situation doesn't exist. Everybody followed the plan on the glass bridge. No serious animosity between the players. If you're the leader here, it is a very tough decision because it's easy to say, like, okay, we agreed to do the nominate yourself, then you didn't nominate me, and then if the next person wants to be like, well, you broke the thing, so I'm gonna nominate you, and then maybe you get nominated by everybody.
Yeah.
But with this group of people, these people are gutless as fuck. I would call these people sheep, except that would be insulting to the sheep for sure. So
okay.
So, like, these people get, and like, whoever, I think Mai actually gives the die to Roland next. He doesn't give it to Chad, I believe. Also, let's talk about the scenario where like two people just give the die back and forth and they can just decide who goes home. Like, was that a thing? Or was there a mechanic that the show
feels
didn't
like
explain?
There are no rules that say that that's not allowed.
It definitely,
you know?
at least it wasn't said in the show.
But yeah, so theoretically, Mai should be handing it to Chad, and then they just, between the two of them,
they just
pass
roll
it back and
tell
forth and pick the three people.
Yeah, they can pick the same
100%.
3 people over and over again. But let's pretend that wasn't an option. Like, everybody had to go once, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She gives it to Roland, and then Roland got blessed with the amazing opportunity of having an option that is not him.
Yep.
And he has two choices. In my mind, this is what he has. He has two choices. He has a go with what Mai was saying and also nominate Ashley. That would have probably been my choice. Or take the route of, oh, Mai, I was really hurt that you broke the agreed upon strategy. I have to nominate you now.
Which I would still be pissed at because we're choosing to be pissed at Mai for breaking the agreement, but we're not pissed at Ashley for breaking the bridge agreement. Bullshit. Okay.
Yeah. Those are the two options. Roland chooses the third option, which is stick with the agreed upon strategy.
Yeah.
And nominate himself. It's so bad. It's like, there's 12 people left in the game. Like, this is what happens when you nominate Ashley. You nominate Ashley, she's pissed. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess who she's also pissed at? She's also pissed at Mai. So when it gets to her turn, not only do you have a 1 in 6 chance of surviving that turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now there's a 50-50 chance she doesn't even pick you. So now you have a 1 in 12 chance of not going home when it gets to a person that might nominate you. Now, like, the only risk is like somehow this snowballs out of control and people just like keep like reverse chaining. But like these people are so gutless, you know? And this is honestly like why Mai is able to get away with this. Like, and I don't know if this is a read by her or what it is, but like she does have like a reason that we believe is valid. But nobody else seems to agree with. And then, but like, Mai's like, I'm gonna nominate somebody else. None of these people are gonna nominate me in return. Like, this is not a thing. Like, these people, they're so bad. Like, I'm gonna use the word losers. These people are losers. And it's not because they're bad people, but literally they are not trying to win, which makes them losers.
Yeah.
So, these people suck. Like, yeah. Can you imagine if this was like the devil's plan and people every game were just like, let's just leave it up to chance? What the fuck are we watching at that point?
Yeah.
Like, my God. So, yeah, like you said, everybody nominates themselves except for Mai and Ashley. On the last podcast, I refused to say 432's name because I think he shouldn't have been in the game anymore.
Okay.
We're down to 12 people. I think we should do a bit of a roll call here and actually, give people credit for making it this far. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Here are all the people that decided to nominate themselves.
Okay.
That we haven't talked. Well, maybe we talked about some of them. But let's.
I don't know that everybody got to roll. So.
Oh, they didn't. I'll get to the person that didn't roll. All right, let's start it out. Let's go in the order that they rolled. Ready?
Okay.
We're doing a roll call here. Roland 418. You suck. Sam 016. You suck. Haley 355. You suck. B 018. you suck. Eliminated.
I was sad
Elliot,
she got eliminated.
429. You suck. Perna 031 eliminated. You suck. Phil 451. You suck. Amanda 019. You suck. Chad 286 eliminated. You suck. There. And then one person's missing. Rosemarie did not get a chance to roll. Rosemarie 051. I didn't get to see if you were going to roll for yourself or not. Chances are you were probably going to roll for yourself, and you probably suck also. So,
hey, I think we got to give her the benefit of the doubt. Who knows? Who knows?
I know I gave the caveat that maybe she wouldn't have rolled for herself, but chances are she also sucks based on the job casting is done on this show. So yeah, I thought everybody deserved to have their name said on the podcast.
Fair.
Oh my god, so bad.
Yep.
I enjoy a lot of things, Sarah, but there aren't many things like I'm passionate about. And these survival reality game shows, I'm pretty passionate about. And these people are just the worst. They're
ruining
just
it for
worst.
you. Yeah.
Thank God won this season. If anybody else won this season, I think it's a disappointment. Honestly.
Yeah. Fair.
We talk about like. Let me take you a walk down memory lane on Survivor. Ready?
Okay.
First season of Survivor. It's like the same thing, except it's been 23 years since the first season of Survivor. Like, there's plenty of reality TV competitions now that people can watch, and there's some crossover between all of them. But the first season of Survivor, it was like this a lot. People didn't know what they were doing. They thought the word alliance was evil. They didn't want to be in an alliance. That's not fair. And you know what? 4 people that figured out that being an alliance was a good thing basically steamrolled the game. And there was even one player who actually didn't even want to vote based on like social stuff, and was just like, I'm just going to vote in alphabetical order.
That's ridiculous.
And the group of 4 people that realized, oh, you know what? Maybe if we vote together, then we can keep ourselves safe. They just started voting for the same person that person was voting for. As long as it wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
But look, like, a show doesn't, it doesn't always have to have the best content on the first season. And it can grow from there. But like 23 years of reality TV competition, guys. Come on. This can't be. We're not rolling dice to eliminate ourselves when you have a 1 in 12 chance at $4.5 million. There's no way.
Do you think that a lot had to do with just the sheer number of people they had to cast for this show?
Oh yeah. Oh, that I don't know if like casting is good or bad on the show necessarily, but it at least seems like it is hard to cast, 426 good people that will actually, play the game as intended. Like I'll say, I think out of these 12 people that are made it here, Mai is the only one that would even have a chance of getting on Survivor. None of these people.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
There's no chance.
Okay.
Especially now. Especially now. Now that they've shown what they can do and what they can't do.
I just wonder if there's something that the show could do going forward to make people be a little bit more cutthroat.
Oh, this is what you do. And this is what a lot of reality TV shows are doing now. Or some newer shows are doing. Just cast people that have been on reality TV shows before. And that's not good for me, who's trying to get on these shows. But we're on season 45 of Survivor right now.
Ooh, how many total Survivor contestants have there been ever? Would that fill out an entire Squid Game cast?
Easily enough Survivor contestants to fill out a Squid Game cast. Now, those people would have to want to play.
Yeah.
It's not like every Survivor casting ever was amazing, But it largely, if you took you could probably take the last, 15 seasons of Survivor and cast all those people, and it's better casting than the show. Like you'll get some actual gameplay going on. That's interesting. And again, like this is the first time they're doing the show. They didn't have as many applicants probably for the show, and they have to get more people. They probably know the show is really about being like the original show, and everybody else. Again, no individual person was that big deal to production. They're just eliminating people willy-nilly on the show pretty much. So like the show is mostly about it's not nostalgia is not the right word because the show's not that old, but it's like kind of the nostalgia of the original show.
Yeah.
But yeah, huge disappointment for me watching these people. But because thank God one person wasn't awful. and it was like it did make it interesting going forward because I was like, wow, there's literally only one person to root for. It's like in my mind, it's like one person and a bunch of orbits.
Yep.
Losers, non-players. They're not players. They're not movers and shakers, as you might say. Like they're just there. These people are just there.
Yeah.
They want their roll of the dice. They want their 1 in 456 chance of winning the money. They're not there to improve their odds. Yeah, weak stuff. So yeah, that's what I was pissed about. The Ashley and my stuff, like that's what you want. You want that. That's what the show should want. So that's the good content, and it's good. Like,
yeah, that's fine. But like, I want Ashley to properly be the villain and other people to realize it. Like, like they all have their individual portraits that show up, on the big screen of who's left. And I swear she purposely took hers like a spooky child in a haunted movie. Like,
well,
she's a villain.
Like
just let her be a villain. No. Other people
really?
do not. Like, her head is tilted down and her eyes are looking up in a way that's just like menacing. Like, yeah, a creepy child ghost. So just everyone else should just recognize the fact that she's being a villain, and then I'm fine. And then they can have this tension between them. It's just everybody's on the wrong fucking side.
Is there a chance that Ashley is like actively trying to be a villain on the show and it's just like not working? Like people are just like, nah, it's good.
I don't know. She's just must be real likable in person, because I think that's what this boils down to.
Yeah.
Everybody likes her more than they like Mai.
I guess so. I don't think like we would get along with her. I don't do good. Like people that as soon as somebody like is gaslighting and like jumping through hoops and not making logical sense, that's very off-putting to me. So
yeah. And I have big grandma energy, and Mai's an older lady, so that I think we get along.
See, you would win this show, Sarah. Easy.
Not a chance.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay, we're down to 9 people.
Because after everybody was so concerned about making enemies and betraying people in a game that's about betraying people, we're going to play a game called Circle of Trust, which should probably be named, as one of the players says, Circle of Distrust. This is such a good game. Like,
it's an excellent game.
There's like I think some thought was actually put into this game. Like we're rolling dice. We're gonna play rock paper scissors as like the finale of the show. We're gonna press some buttons. But like this is okay. These people actually have to have a skill set.
Yeah.
Explain to me the rules of Circle of Trust.
Everybody's sitting in a circle in like high school style desks. They got a little desk attached to a chair. They're all facing each other. In the center is like a little pillar with a gift box on top of it. Everybody gets blindfolded, and then a bunch of the guards walk in a circle around the circle of desks to make noise, so you don't know who's moving. And they have a box with everybody's number in it, like on a ball, and they randomly pick out a number, and that person gets tapped. They have to take off their blindfold, put the gift on the desk of someone they want to be eliminated. Then they go back to their desk. Everybody's told to like take off their blindfolds, and the person who has the gift on their desk has to choose who they think put it there. If they get it right, that person's eliminated. If they get it wrong, they are eliminated. And we're eliminating 6 players from this game.
Oh yeah, we're going down to 3. Yeah, at first when I explained the rules, I didn't think they were going to take off their blindfolds for the guessing who it was. But then when they took it off, I was like, oh, this is actually skill. Like this, like I was like, there's a little bit of skill in like thinking about, all right, who's going to give me the gift. But then when you get to read faces, this is so good. I love this. This is so good.
And when the person guesses incorrectly, you never find out who actually put the gift there.
Oh yeah, it remains anonymous the whole time. Yeah. What's so interesting about this is like, why are they in desks? Like this isn't from the show, right?
No, this is entirely new. I think it's just so there's a surface to put this gift on.
I guess so.
Because really, they could just have them take off their blindfold and point at someone, and then like light up a thing around them to show that they've been chosen. But I don't know. Just do this instead.
The desks make it like a little bit of a physical game because like those chairs, especially for me, like if I had to sit in that chair, like it's going to be a little hard to get in and out of it, and like someone just might hear the chair move.
Exactly.
So my immediate thought on this, well, I had 2 thoughts immediately. on if you get picked for.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you and I, we made it through. We're at the final 9.
Oh, good for us.
All right, and this is
Nice.
where it gets spicy, Sarah.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Is this where you're
because
going to put it on my desk? Is
no,
that what's happening?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just gonna let's just
Yeah,
talk
you gotta not
broadly.
say it now because if it ever
not saying
happens,
that.
yeah, I say I see you. Yeah.
Because my first thought was like, these chairs are gonna be rough. Like maybe, like I'll probably have to pick somebody on like the other side of the room. Like if I pick the person right next to me, it's more likely they heard me, you know. So I'm gonna pick somebody on the other side. So maybe like it was a little bit hard for them to tell if they did hear anything where it was coming from. Second thought is, man, like the closer somebody is in alliance with you, the less chance that they're gonna guess that it was you. Like that is 100% my first thought. And once I thought that, I was like, this game is awesome.
That's like the point of this game.
Like these people can't hide anymore. Like they actually have to do something. Because then Mai's gonna go first, and Mai's a gamer. She's here to play.
Mm-hmm.
She gives it to Roland.
Yeah, who is the person she's closest with now that Chad is gone. Yep.
And the person she gave the die to in the last round.
Mm-hmm.
Although Chad was still around then, which is a little weird, that whole thing.
I think he was just standing next to her, and that was part of the reason she handed it off to him that way.
Yeah, she gave it to Roland. And then, like, the fun part of this is, like, every time you get picked, right, you take off your blindfold, and then you're like, oh, the presence on my desk, shit. And then you get to, like, get up out of your chair and walk around and, like, I guess you can interrogate people if you want, but it's a lot of just, like, looking at body language. And then they turned it into this thing where, like, they walk by a person, and then they, like, make a comment about that person.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I know you and I are good. you wouldn't do it to me.
She chirped in immediately in a way that I'm like, oh my, you are not selling this. That was sus as fuck.
You think she was bad?
Yeah, because she's just like, who? He just says my, and she's like, who would do your hair? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What?
Yeah, that's true. I don't think Mai was the best hider of her stuff, but she's gonna end up being a good detector.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Roland, despite Mai being sus as hell, is not gonna pick her because he thinks they're good. He's just thinking. He's thinking one dimensional. You know.
Yep.
The most basic way of thinking about anything. That's how most of these players are thinking, and so he just picks. I don't even know who he picks. He doesn't pick correctly, and then it basically keeps going, right? So I think somebody else also. Haley 255 gives the gift to Amanda. That's when the Women's Alliance comes back up. And I was like, let's go. Use the Women's Alliance against Amanda. Now, who did Amanda choose?
Like, who did she guess? She guessed Phil.
She guessed Phil. Yeah, see, she didn't pick a woman. See, that was so smart. That was like a freebie if you get picked as a woman and Amanda's still in the game.
Yep.
So I appreciate Haley there. Haley's doing something.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't totally suck. Although Haley's gonna really suck at detecting.
I thought she had some. She did talk through. She talked through some decent logic of it, though.
She did make points about like Was she the one that made points about like looking at people's clothes and if they changed?
I don't remember, but she did say like when it was her, it was down to she only had Mai, Phil, and Sam to pick from, and she knew that Phil and Sam were real close. And so, like, she was going through the, like, well, if it was either of you, you definitely wouldn't put it on each other. So that kind of makes it more likely to have been one of you, to have picked me. Like, she went through some steps of, like, logical reasons to pick people, but she just didn't land on the right person at the end.
Yeah, but then she didn't pick them. So she failed. And let's just get through these. I'll tell you where she really failed. Okay. Mai eventually goes. You don't want to get picked, right? Ideally, you just never get picked.
Yeah.
But if you do get picked and get it right, nobody should be touching you ever again, right? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Like Mai gives this whole like confessional about how she works with immigration, and I don't know exactly why that makes her good at reading people, but like she talks through like the detail of like how she's looking at people, and then she's able to deduce that it was
Elliot. But like even like she's got Ashley there like overacting, trying to look guilty because Ashley wants her to pick wrong and go home.
Yeah.
And like she doesn't even think that
That's
it's
so
her at
good,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
Once she gets right, I would feel like nobody's gonna give it to you again.
Except that's not what happens with Phil.
It's
He
not what
gets
happens
picked
with
twice
Phil.
in a row.
But so Phil's gonna get it right twice.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Like, I can't tell if Phil actually knows what he's doing or he just gets lucky as hell. I think he just gets lucky because there's no
He
like
does look a
confessional
little
along the way.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like no confessional along the way of like him taking credit for doing anything smart.
Yeah.
And like he might just be a person that's so committed to being like, I don't want to be a villain on this show and I don't want to act like I'm better than anyone or I am betraying anybody. So and then when I go into the confessionals, I'm just gonna say, yeah, I just
I
randomly
had no
picked somebody.
plan. I just went with it.
I had no idea what I
Yeah.
was doing. I just picked somebody and I got lucky. And he thinks somehow that is going to be endearing. I mean, maybe it is endearing to people. Not to me.
I mean, I don't dislike Phil.
Oh, I definitely dislike Phil.
You know.
100% dislike Phil. Yeah. So Phil gets it right twice. I feel like he just got lucky twice. That's my assessment.
Okay. I don't know. I think he might be a good little detective.
There's no way that he like gave himself credit in confessionals and they didn't show it. Like why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that happen? Like why is he not giving himself credit? If anything, like he very much enjoyed the theatrics of being the person that was given the gift. Like he was like,
that's true. He did
the
like
person I'm selecting is, and then he like spun around and like pointed at them.
He did a little like old timey detective sort of like, haha. Like I almost expected him to be like, j'accuse. But there was dramatic pointing and it was funny. Yeah.
He very much enjoyed that aspect of it. So like, why wouldn't he be in confessionals? Like even fake bragging. Like just come up with some bullshit reason that you got it right.
Yeah.
Like ham it up in the confessionals. Like, oh yeah, I knew exactly what I was doing. These people are idiots for picking me twice. Of course I'm gonna get it right. Like we don't even get that. Like Phil's such a zero on the show. Come on.
I think he's perfectly pleasant.
Yeah, but not get him off my TV show.
Okay.
All right, so we get to the final four. Haley gets the gift. They actually finally give us a blind where we don't know.
Yeah.
We know who gave the gift up until this last one. And my God, was Phil so obvious that it was him. Oh, like I wasn't even in the room and I could tell it was Phil. Like right away. Like he plays with his blindfold in a way he didn't the entire time. Like he took the blindfold off, but instead of taking it off, he just like had it like wearing it like a bandana. And I was like, why? And then eventually, like, I don't know if he realized that he didn't take the bandana off or what, but when Haley's like walking around, he takes it off and then he's like awkwardly like folding it over and over and over again. Like he's doing things that he hasn't done the entire time.
Yeah.
I think it's very obvious. Then Haley talks through this whole like logic of why like, okay, Phil and Sam wouldn't pick each other. So if it was them, it'd be more likely they'd pick me, right? Isn't that the logic?
Mm-hmm.
Or was the logic like if Mai had to pick, then she wouldn't pick Sam.
I think it was also
Phil
that, yeah.
Because they
would know that they wouldn't
so
pick
it's more
each other.
likely
Yeah.
that they would get it right.
Yeah.
That would not have been my logic at all, because I would have thought, yeah, Phil and Sam are most likely going to give each other the gift because that's what they should do.
Except, I don't know that they've behaved in that cut through behavior before.
I think you just have to go with the poker read, and Phil is like has the biggest tell ever here that it was him. I was very disappointed that Phil was allowed to continue past this game.
Yeah. I would not make it through this game, mostly because you would kill me, but
No, I wouldn't. See, this is the thing, Sarah. Like, I would definitely think about giving it to you.
Of course, yeah.
But I wouldn't, because I actually think you might figure me out, honestly. Because you're not a fucking loser like these people.
Because I know how you behave default in the world, so it might make it easier to figure you out.
I would much prefer the scenario where somebody else picks you and then you accuse me and it's not me, and then I get to hang that over your head for the rest of your life. Like, I would never.
I think going into this, we all both of us have to have an extra person who we're like super, at least pretend close with, who we then pick for this.
Oh yeah. I mean, even if you're just good at having a poker face.
I am not.
If you're picking early in the round, like, it's very hard. Like, they have a 1 in 8 chance of getting it right on the first round. So even if you just pick somebody random, like, you could do eeny, meeny, miny, mo and just pick somebody that isn't you or me, right? And then chances are you'll just survive as long as you're good at having a poker face. But you don't think you have a good poker face.
I don't think I do at all.
If you
I'm
don't have a
bad
good
at
poker
lying
face, the
games.
move is try to have like as many tells as possible.
Like
So
all
that
the time. Yeah.
So like try to make everybody pick you all the time. And then when they pick you and it's not you, people will be like, damn, she has a lot of tells and it's not her. I'm not like, I just can't pick her anymore. But then like when it is you might forget and then you act all serious or something and then it's a
true.
giveaway. So no matter what you do, you just to be like consistent. And honestly, I might just lose to this because I don't think I would have thought about the clothes thing. And if somebody was wise enough to catch me on that, also getting it in out of the chair, I think I'd be at a disadvantage in this.
Yeah, me too. I am too klutzy for that shit.
This would be a lot of fun, I think. Like I'd be a little excited if when somebody gave me the gift, I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to play. Like $4.5 million on the line on this poker read. So exciting.
Oh, so stressful.
Mai had another good moment in this game. The only person I expected to have a good moment, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then Haley had a good moment, but then throws it all away at the end. So
Yeah,
everybody still sucks besides Mai. We can just keep it going.
And we're down to just Mai, Phil, and Sam for the final.
Yeah, Sam doesn't have to do shit in this game, I'll point out.
Yeah, that's true. He never gets picked.
Never gets picked for giving the gift or receiving the gift. So didn't have to do
Must
anything.
be doing something right then to never be the person picked for receiving it.
I guess, but this game is like kind of the reverse where like people should be betraying their allies. So again, it's kind of just dumb luck that nobody, like the people that he felt close to, didn't betray him. I don't know. It's tough. It's weird. It's weird because it's like you should be betraying each other, but like these people don't betray each other. So except some of them finally did, or one person finally did, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're in the final three. Pretty easy. We made it.
Oh, really? It's it's just us and one other poor schmuck. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't take notes on the finals because we just watched it, but I think we just talked about it real fast. So they was like, they go to a dinner, which you said was like a whole thing on the show. Like they're all wearing tuxedos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but instead of like murdering each other with knives or whatever they had to do in the show, they just bring out 3 buttons and they have to decide who presses the button first, right?
Yeah, it's like a circle, triangle, square button following with the whole motif of everything. And if you push a button and it turns gray, nothing happens. Somebody else pushes a button. If you push a button and it turns red, you get eliminated. And if you push a button and it's green, you get to pick one other person to go with you to the final match.
Yes. Okay. Now, if we're buying the narrative, that's probably true that like Phil and Sam would take each other, or they're like good friends. Neither one of them wants to press the button because if you press a button, you risk getting red and eliminating yourself. But if your friend presses the button for you and they get green, then they'll take you. So the math works out where you should just let your friends be the person that nominate. That's a very consistent strategy I think you can have on this show.
So how are you going to convince me to push a button?
Oh, how to convince you to push the button? I don't know. I mean, okay, so what happens is my knows what's happening. Basically, I don't think the odds change for if she goes first or second, right? I'd have to think about that, actually.
I don't know the math.
Actually, no, my probably doesn't want to go, right? I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but it feels like it doesn't matter if Mai goes first or not. Because basically, she either goes and gets the red, or she's risking somebody else go and get the green. And in both those scenarios, she's eliminated, right? So it's the same 1 in 3 chance that she's eliminated. I would have to guess that Mai is aware that, like, okay, both of them aren't going to hit the button. And it, like, they improve their odds by not hitting the button, but she doesn't. So she might as well just go hit the button, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
But she gets the gray. And then okay, so Mai just got gray. We're in the game with Mai at the end, right? You and Mai.
Okay.
Mai just got gray. Now we have a bit of a standoff here, Sarah. This is rough. This is like, I feel like the show didn't really highlight well enough how like epic this moment was between two people who are supposedly like great friends.
Yeah.
Like it really is just like whoever doesn't hit the button has a 100% chance of making it to the next round.
Yeah.
And the other person is risking a 50-50. Like, it's so brutal, actually. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
I'll hit the button for you, Sarah, at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like, it's,
Okay.
yeah, I'll hit the button for you. Why not? I dragged you out here.
We didn't discuss if we're gonna split this money at the end if we
Oh, we're not
win.
allowed. No.
What do you mean? They give me money and then I get to do whatever I want with my fucking money. That's how life works.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think they have things about not sharing, but I'm not expecting you
Like,
to share the money with me.
Leanne wins this thing. She wills
I
this
think there are
money to her son
exceptions.
Trey. Like, they can't fucking do shit about that.
Yeah, I think I mean, when you have shows where like you're playing with loved ones, I think that's different. But there's something on Survivor, like, I don't know, they at least want to give the appearance that you're not allowed to share the money, because it really gets rid of the drama of the situation.
That's why we don't talk about it on the show. We just talk about it ahead of time.
Oh, ahead of time. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
We totally wouldn't share the money. Big wink. There you go. That's for the show.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm not going on.
You gotta hit the button for me? I'd be like, Sarah, you want to hit the button for me? And if you say no, I'll probably just hit the button, honestly.
I mean,
I give you one.
I would probably
I'll give you one chance to hit the button for me, and then I'll probably just cave after that. Honestly,
I would probably cave immediately.
Oh, great! All right, I'm in the finals. Let's go. And there's still a 50% chance that we both make it. But in this case, thank God Sam hits the red button and gets eliminated. Thank God. So Mai survives this the odds were not in her favor on this game.
Yeah.
But she managed to survive.
So then it's Mai versus Phil in the final game.
They're gonna play rock, paper, scissors, right?
Yeah, in the actual show, it's like two guys beating the shit out of each other on a playground game, but so they can't do that.
They set up the whole Squid Game playground area, but then they just play rock, paper, scissors on top of it. So yeah, there's definitely strategy, rock, paper, scissors, and Phil is just outmatched here. Like, it's basically somebody who has no strategy versus somebody who's willing to do strategy.
And there's multiple rounds of rock, paper, scissors. They have to there's this big safe that takes a key, and then there's a box of keys. So if you win a round of rock, paper, scissors, you get to pick a random key and try it in the safe. And if you open it, huzzah, you win. If not, back to rock, paper, scissors for you.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how many keys there were, but there seemed to be a decent amount. I forget.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got more than halfway through or what it was, but
they look like they only had 4 left, maybe.
Oh, really?
They got pretty close to the bottom.
Oh, wow, very unlucky. Yeah, like if it was just one round of rock, paper, scissors, that's pretty much pure luck. But if you play the same person over and over again, rock, paper, scissors, there is a mind game to it that Mai was definitely dominating at.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, even with that, Phil still had a chance to win this because he's winning a few rounds here and there, and they did the moment that they're supposed to do where Phil finally wins a round and he gets his key, and if this key's right, he just wins, even though he's lost so many rounds in a row. And I was like, come on, please no. This is pretty dramatic for me because I was just so invested in Mai being the winner of the show at this point.
Yeah.
And thankfully the odds worked out, and he didn't win on the few times that he won. And Mai eventually wins. Oh, so good. I don't know. This show again is the strength of the show is the effort into the production of the set and everything like that. So does this show need an amazing first winner of season 1 to really keep the show interesting, or to make the show feel better, or be a longer lasting show? Maybe not. I think maybe season 2, you want to get some better people in here. But I think it's really good for the show that somebody that actually was playing won.
Yeah. I do hope going forward they find a way to make people a little more cutthroat, actually play this game.
It's honestly just casting. You just have to, and I understand it's hard to cast, but clearly they either got very unlikely with the ratio of non-players that made it to the end, or they just they'll probably be getting a lot more people now casting, and then they'll just have better choices.
I mean, they could, with the rolling the die game, they could have just not given them the choice to pick themselves, and then they have to be a little cutthroat,
I like the choice to pick yourself. I don't think it's necessarily always the wrong move to with the the metas for these games can be kind of cyclical, where if everybody knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Then if you're going first, that if you don't pick yourself, then the next person is going to pick you because
Mhm.
like everybody there is like actually knows what they're doing to some degree. Then
Yeah.
you might switch it up and pick yourself and now survive, and then the next person has to make the next big decision of like.
Yeah.
But my gave everybody the opportunity to not pick themselves, and they didn't take it.
Yeah.
That's the issue I have. But with the right group of people in the right circumstances, picking yourselves is an interesting option. I like that. I do like that it was an option, but it just sucks that so many people, so many gutless people made it to the end of the show that they all chose it. I would focus more if I was the show, like focus more on getting
Casting,
better
yeah.
people than and then trying to like rig the games.
Mm.
Don't give people less decisions to make
Yeah, okay, fair.
because they're gonna make the wrong decision, you know.
Yeah.
And like you
Okay.
could take that approach, but like it's more interesting the more decisions there are, and you just have better people making those decisions.
Fair.
Anything else that we want to talk about the show? Such an interesting show.
No, I got my rant out. I feel
All
better
right.
now.
So now let's apply for the show. Ready?
Have fun.
No. We're applying for the show right now. Ready? Let me ask.
No, thank you.
Hold on. Let me bring up the casting site.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, here it is. All right. Yeah, because we're doing the video, right?
I mean,
I didn't talk about everything.
there's
what do we have to
no
do?
way
What do we
you
have to do?
could.
It's just a 1 minute video, Sarah. Let's do it.
Yeah, you have no video of me, so you can't
I know, but
can't
look,
submit
here we
it
go.
for
Ready?
me. It doesn't work.
All right, help me get on the show then. Ready? I'm gonna record
Okay,
my video on the podcast. Right?
Okay, what are we talking
All right.
about?
All right, tell us about yourself. Right? All right, my name is James Galgon. What do people need to know about me, Sarah? I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, huge reality TV show person.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe that's what they want to know.
Oh.
I want to be on Squid Game. Honestly, I want to be on Squid Game just to win the show. To show people how to actually play these games instead of just watch these people take random chances to win. And I think I could win because, you know, a lot of people weren't playing at the end of the show. So seems like easy money, right? Right.
Seems it. Yeah.
All right, what would our game plan be?
Well, your game plan largely involves me being on the show, and I don't want to be on the show.
That's true. We just did a whole podcast on what we would do if we were both on the show. All right, but our game strategy would be mostly to be invisible for the beginning of the game, right? But then the main strategy is, you know, make allies, right? But don't volunteer for leadership roles. But maybe just try to get your allies to volunteer for leadership roles. Maybe should we ally with people that look like they are willing to take leadership roles? Is that a move? That might be the move.
Seems like a good one. Yeah.
All right, let's do that. And then if there's ever like a cue or like a line, try to be like towards the beginning, and then you just throw the people that went before you under the bus. That's also a great strategy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then, you know, be willing to screw over your allies in the end. Basically, is what it comes down to. That's how you get the slight advantages, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The rest is just cross your fingers and hope you get lucky. And I'll take the odds. I'll take those odds. Just slightly to significantly better odds than anybody else that's on the show. I'll take that.
What are you gonna do with all that money?
Not much. That's what I'm missing. I don't have like a good I need money story.
We could hire someone to edit the podcast for us.
Oh, we could hire someone to edit this podcast for us. That would be
That'd be nice.
Actually. That'd be really nice.
Maybe a designer to redo our logo or something. Yeah.
We spend it all on the podcast. We can put up billboard advertisements and whatnot with our money.
Oh yeah. We'll buy ad spots on other podcasts for our podcast.
I might maybe buy a slightly better house than the one that I would otherwise have. And yeah, that's about it. I mostly just want the title. The title's the best part, right? You just like Squid Game Victor. What's that? What was the? What was the chip?
I don't think
there's like the winner of Squid Game.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, we can come up with a better name, you know. But that would just be great in and of itself. Especially if you really play. That's when it feels good, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was slightly longer than a minute. So we're gonna have to do some editing there, but there you
go. Well, I'm gonna splice together, you know, all the different bits from the entire podcast into one video, and probably I won't feel good about it at the end, and then We'll see what I do. But if I do feel like if I call 11 out of the final 12 people on the show out for sucking and being losers, maybe I should try out for the show myself.
Fair.
That feels
Absolutely
fair, right?
fair.
I'll be fair about that. Okay. All right. What else am I? A stay-at-home dad. I like to play badminton.
And a podcaster. There we go.
Yeah, and I podcast about. Well, yeah, we're podcasting about TV shows, but specifically Squid Game: The Challenge. Has anybody podcasted harder on Squid Game: The Challenge than us? And by that I mean length of podcast.
I don't know. We haven't even released one of them yet, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I haven't done the research on that, but we podcast hard.
Oh, yeah.
On Squid Game: The Challenge.
Long. Just real long.
Yeah. And keep your eyes out for Sarah's video so you can put us on. So you can put us on as best friends, as a best friend duo, right? Famously, I'm actually not Sarah's best friend, but she is my best friend.
That's not true. Best friend is a tier, not a sole position.
I do think there is a definition of best, and you're not using it properly, but that's fine. I understand.
It's you and one other person. It's fine.
I might have to reconsider you being my best friend since you're not willing to go on Squid Game: The Challenge with me.
Well, there you go.
I feel
That's a sacrifice I'm going to have to make, I guess.
Friend would go on Squid Game: The Challenge with me.
I feel like my best friend wouldn't make me go on Squid Game: The Challenge.
I know, I'm not making you go, which is, you would think I'd be your best friend then, but I'm clearly not. I'm just trying to hook you up with 4.5 million. Now, say we had an agreement, Sarah, to split the money after we go on the show.
Yeah.
How dumb are you going to feel when I go on and win it by myself?
I'm going to be real happy for you. And happy that you hired someone to edit the podcast. I still get to benefit from that.
Hey, we didn't agree to that. That's not what I agreed to.
But you would benefit from it more than I would, so I think you would still do it.
All right. Well, maybe. Who needs the podcast anymore when I have $4.5 million?
It's not like we're making money off
what?
Of the
We're
podcast.
making bank off this thing. What are you talking about? It's a very successful podcast.
We are making fun and
you know what you can do?
Having a good time.
When I'm on Squid Game: The Challenge, you can have your actual best friend fill in for me on the podcast.
I don't think he likes the idea of podcasting. I don't know.
He doesn't like podcasting, yet he's still your best friend. I don't know about this. Something doesn't add up in all this conversation.
Fair.
All right. Well, regardless of whether Sarah decides to try for the show, put me on the show and I'll represent the podcast.
I think you'll do a great job and everyone will enjoy seeing you there.
Yeah, or I'll get eliminated to red light, green light. It's fine.
It's fine. We will pause the screen and find you in the crowd and circle it and post it on our
I'll be so pumped just to
social
be
media.
wanted on a TV show. Like that feeling alone I'll feel like an amazing person from that. Like, yes, people want me. Let's go.
Nice.
Are you worried I might find a new best friend on Squid Game: The Challenge?
No.
Temporarily and then betray them.
Yes. That is what will happen.
So yeah, you don't have to worry. I'll just betray them even if they are my best friend.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. All right. I hope we can make a good 1-minute video out of that content. All right. Well, Best Friends, The Challenge Season 2. We'll see you there.
Yeah. Sure. Not really.
I don't know when this podcast is coming out. So, yeah. Where can people contact us?
Who knows what
Sarah?
comes next? People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com. Tweet at us at keepwatchingpod. Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod. Or leave a comment under the video on YouTube, also at keepwatchingpod. And if you think I should go on this show with James, you can leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Yes. Yeah.
It won't change anything, but you can tell us that you think that I should go on the show.
Yeah. If this podcast gets 1 million hits, will you apply for the show with me?
Like 1 million views?
Yeah, views, hits. I don't know, whatever you call it.
Sure. I will say yes, but only because we're not getting 1 million views, and this is going to be posted probably after the end of the application period. If
I don't
had
think
to
so.
guess.
The application periods can be long.
Okay.
The more
Well,
incentive
still,
for me to
fine.
get it edited. I might have to hire somebody to edit this podcast.
to get it
so
out real
that I
fast?
get out
Okay, fine.
quickly, and then all the people that listen to our
One.
podcasts will really get the word out and get
Yeah.
the hits. Yeah.
Okay, 1 million views on YouTube.
On
On this
YouTube specifically,
podcast.
come on. I gave you an unreasonable number, and you're making it more unreasonable.
Well, wait. Okay, fine. Across. Well, that's like people can track it if it's on YouTube. People can't see our download numbers for when it's
That's true.
on Apple Podcasts or
All right,
something.
so give me 500,000 on YouTube.
500,000 on YouTube, sure.
Yes, we could do it.
Then I will apply for Squid Game: The Challenge Season 2.
Only season
Notice
2.
how I said Season 2.
Damn.
There we
All
go.
Right, whatever. All right, we tried. No, I mean we are going to succeed.
Yeah, you're gonna do great on that show. Good job.
Most likely, I'll do okay.
Yeah.
If I get eliminated, I get eliminated to a random game that involved a lot of luck.
We're gonna have a lot of fun recording a podcast after you come back.
I'm honestly, if they do red light, green light, or the Dalgana again, I'm legitimately scared. Like, because I easily could get eliminated by that. Like it sounds crazy hard, both of those, and how they were actually produced. And I'm going to the front of the line. I'm doing the standoff for the umbrella. I could at least have a glorious moment where maybe I make somebody take umbrella, which wasn't a great look for the person that ended up doing that, but I think I can make it not seem so bad.
He had a lot of other reasons he didn't look good, so I think you're gonna be better.
I should be able to not threaten people.
It's a low bar.
I think I can pull that. I think I can pull that off.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Sarah?
I think that's it.
This was so much fun.
Yeah. It was.
All righty. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.